Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku became a monster summoner part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content and leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. The author of the story 𝘆𝘂'𝗹𝗹 from Wattpad. So let's start the video. Long before quirks ever existed, the world was filled with magic, where anyone can perform incredible feats. And in this time, there lived a powerful necromancer named 𝘆𝘆 who possessed great power, and he used it to protect his home. But when a dark wizard attacked, 𝘆𝘆 sacrificed himself so that his fellow wizards could live on. But as time went on, people had forgotten magic, and so these legends became mere fairy tales for the youth. But a young boy named 𝘆𝘂𝑚𝘆 was about to learn that even if one's power is considered villainous, they can still be saviors. Our story begins on the last day of middle school. 𝘆𝘂 was walking back home after a beating from his former childhood friend, 𝘁𝑐𝘂'𝗋𝗋. 𝘆𝘂, why do I have to suffer like this? I didn't ask to be born quirkless. All I'm good at is being a hero fanboy, who is good at nothing but analyzing quirks. 𝘆𝘂 suddenly heard a voice that didn't sound familiar. I bet you could be good at being bad, kid. 𝘆𝘂, gasp, are you talking to me? See any other kids around? 𝘆𝘂 thinks he's finally lost it and looks at his reflection in a store window. No, you're not hearing things. You're not talking to yourself either. Come find me. I'm in the library. 𝘆𝘂 does as instructed and goes to the library, which is surprisingly empty. He goes over to the front desk to see if whoever is talking to him is there, but there is no one until he hears the voice again. No. Over here. 𝘆𝘂 sees a large brown book on a pedestal. The pages had pictures of red monsters which seemed to be moving. He closes the book and turns it over to the front cover, which has a face on it. The book had a golden binding, the eyes were yellow and had slits for pupils. The mouth was filled with sharp yellow teeth, and the part of the cover that made its lips was wrinkled. Boo! 𝘆𝘂, scream. Ha! I love doing that. Ha! You should have seen your face. 𝘆𝘂, you're a book. Yeah, I'm the book of monsters. And I think I could make you the baddest baddie in the realm. 𝘆𝘂, I don't know book of monsters. You want to have everybody laugh at you. You want to be a joke, a punching bag for their powers. Aren't you tired of everyone treating you like you don't belong in society? How many more times do you want to be a victim of their beatings? 𝘆𝘂 spaces out, remembering all the times he was made fun of, bullied, and laughed at. Book of monsters. Quit living in the past. The book bites 𝘆𝘂's hand, snapping him back to reality. 𝘆𝘂, you bit me. Book of monsters, I had to snap you out of your sad face kid mode. I can make you somebody. A real bad boy, a guy who's respected. I can make you the most feared guy in all of the country. That's gotta be better than being a punching bag, right? 𝘆𝘂, hey, okay, I'm listening. Book of monsters. Good, now then, first things first, you need a magic staff to make my pages come to life. Luckily there's one right there. The book of monsters directs 𝘆𝘂's attention to a golden staff. The bottom had a blade, while the top was shaped like an upside-down shield with a hole in it. Book of monsters. That staff used to belong to me before I was trapped in this book, so once I get myself a new body, I'll need it back, but I'll get you a new one to make up for it. 𝘆𝘂 picks up the staff and carries the book over his shoulders. He managed to walk out of the library without anyone noticing and got far. He was about to reach a forest nearby when he saw Bakugo approaching. Bakugo, hey Deku, I'm not done with you. Book of monsters. It's that boom boom boy. Quick, page 205. Wave the magic staff over me and conjure a monster. 𝘆𝘂, 𝘆𝘂. He's like my friend. Book of monsters. That friend of yours is the reason for all your suffering. He's not your friend, kid. Remember that. Now quick, page 205. Quick. 𝘆𝘂 does as instructed, but Bakugo is getting closer. Bakugo, hey nerd, what's that you got there? Book of monsters. Yes, that one. 𝘆𝘂 then waved the staff over the book, and suddenly a mix of purple and yellow smoke covered the pages. Suddenly an arm reaches out of the book, followed by a torso, and then a whole body. As it crawls out, the creature lets out growls, finishing with a roar. Out of the book emerged a large black cyclops monster with markings and horns that appeared like magma, with a pair of small black wings on its back. 𝘰𝘂𝘃'𝗋. What have I done? Book of Monsters. Laughs. This is gonna be one monstrous takedown. 𝘰𝘂𝘃'𝗋. You're good at something. You're good at being bad. The monster roars and begins to attack Bakugo. He tries to fight back, but the monster is too powerful for him. Book of Monsters. More monsters. Make more monsters. Izuku gave a small smirk without realizing it and then repeated what he did again. This time there were more monsters. The first group were ball-shaped monsters with monstrous faces that hopped or rolled around, either biting or bumping into Bakugo, and the second group were slightly larger goblin-like monsters with bull horns. Book of Monsters. That should keep him busy for the time being. Now let's get out of here. Izuku watched helplessly as Bakugo was getting attacked by the monsters, but instead of trying to help him, he ran into the forest with the Book of Monsters, as Bakugo cursed at him. Once they were deep enough, Izuku put the book down to catch his breath and looked back. Izuku, Kaken Book of Monsters. Tit. Who does that kid think he is? At least that boy failed. He's gone and we're free. Izuku. Free. Free to be as bad as we want to be. Izuku was carrying the Book of Monsters on his back through the forest, while he started panicking about what he had just done. Izuku, I can't believe what I just did. I mean, look at me. I'm quirkless and I still did that. Oh, this is awful. What is my mom going to think of me? How long we been walking? Book, size 10 minutes, bad boy. Izuku, that long. Book, you're the most delicate evil kid I ever met. You need to stay focused on your revenge. Izuku, grunts, you're getting heavy. You must have some very big binding. Book, well, thanks for not calling me fat. Izuku, well, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm very polite. Grunts puts the Book of Monsters down against a rock. Book of Monsters. Open me to page 3 and get out the bookkeeper. Izuku does as instructed. Izuku, I'm not too sure about this. The last time I tried this we nearly got killed by Kaken. Book of Monsters. Oh, don't be such a baby. It's so simple, even a kid like you can do this. Just wave the staff over the page and you get a monster. Izuku does this and the same thing happens as before. A small magma ball lands in front of him. Izuku, oh, suddenly the ball bursts into smoke. Izuku gasps in surprise. Oh, the creature that stood before Izuku appeared to be some sort of red goblin. It wore only a black elf hat with black fur covering the lower half of its body and 2 toes on each foot with black claw-like nails. It also had some sideburns on its cheeks. The creature turns around and walks to the Book of Monsters, closing it and carrying it with both his arms, but momentarily loses balance before regaining it. Book of Monsters. See. Now this little bookkeeper can carry me around. Papi. Izuku, fine. Phew, just give me a moment to rest my legs. Book of Monsters. Look, kid, I told you I'd make you into the best evil force this world has ever seen, so stop. All your complaining or I'm out. To the bookkeeper, turn me around. I don't want to look at him. The bookkeeper turns completely around, causing him to face Izuku again. No. Turn me halfway around. The bookkeeper does as instructed. I'm turning my back cover on him. Izuku, all right, I'll stop. The Book of Monsters grins at Izuku's compliance. Izuku, now, tell me again, what's the plan? Book of Monsters. The plan is to the bookkeeper, turn me around again. The bookkeeper turns completely around again to the book's surprise and annoyance. Halfway around, genius. The bookkeeper does as instructed. Monsters are useful, but they ain't bright. It's simple. We hunt down those evil books that were lost long ago. The more evil books we get, the more evil we'll be. Izuku, and to an extent, the more evil I'll be, right? Book of Monsters. Yeah. Right. Now let's go. I smell nasty. Izuku, actually, you do have a pretty musty odor. Book of Monsters. What do you think? I've been on a shelf for 1,000 years. Without any deodorant. Izuku. Okay, hey, back then you said that this staff belonged to you before you were trapped in the book. Just who are you exactly? Book of Monsters. I know exactly who I am. Before I was trapped in this book, I was the mighty archnecromancer, Monstrox. An image appeared above the book's head who now introduced himself as 𝘆ance. It showed a figure wearing a dark purple cloak. Despite his face being hidden, 𝘆ici𝗂 recognized the visible mouth and eyes of the book. 𝘆ance. Years ago I was part of a group of wizards called the Wizards' Council. Our job was to research new forms of magic and catalog them. My research was on magic that focused on evil. In spite of this, the council allowed it since there has to be a balance between light and darkness. But we were attacked by a rogue wizard, known as Malik the Malign, who wished to steal all magic in the realm. Murloc, another wizard and close friend, and I worked together to defeat him, but he was still able to do great damage to me by splitting my evil into 12 books, with myself becoming the Book of Monsters in the process. Murloc took me back to his library and studied the books, learning how they work. Over time the wizards all died out, leaving me the only current magic user in existence. I slept for centuries, only waking up recently to find that everything had changed. I saw how corrupt society in this country has become, and I wanted to change that, but I needed someone to help me in achieving this. And who better than someone who was dealt a bad hand? That's why I called to you, kid. If we work together we can purge the corruption and bring about a new era, where no one will suffer the way you have. 𝘆ici𝗂, wow, that's a lot to take in. 𝘆ance, take some time to process this. But once you're done, we have to get moving. Once 𝘆ici𝗂 got his bearings, he got up and they walked deeper into the forest. 𝘆ance was sniffing around trying to find one of the evil books, then he got a scent. 𝘆ance, hey, I smell something. It's that way. The bookkeeper goes in the opposite direction. No, the other way. The bookkeeper turns around and goes in the right direction. I smell a magic book nearby. And it smells bad. 𝘆ici𝗂, great. So, what are the books we're looking for? 𝘆ance, there are 11 books, not counting myself, to find. The Book of Evil, which has the power of corruption, it fully corrupts the morals and ideals of anyone who wields it or anyone in the surrounding area. The Book of Chaos can create tornadoes, hailstorms, and anything that would be considered chaotic, but I wouldn't recommend going after it yet. You're not strong enough to handle the monsters it creates. The Book of Fear has the power to manifest one's greatest fear. The Book of Anger can augment the anger of anyone who wields it. The Book of Deception enables its users to cast illusions and create fake objects. Notably, it seems to have a mind of its own, as unlike other evil books that only affect those directly interacting with them, it utilizes its magic to keep itself out of others' reach, even creating an entire trap-filled labyrinth for this purpose and leaving insulting messages to those who fall for its tricks. The Book of Destruction has the power of pure destruction. This also applies to any non-living thing it touches. The Book of Vengeance can augment the vengefulness in someone's heart. The Book of Greed enables its user to augment one's greed. The Book of Envy is able to make anyone nearby envious of everything. The Book of Cruelty skewers the morals of anyone in its area and makes them extremely cruel. And finally, the Book of Betrayal, which has the power to corrupt anyone to betray those closest to them. 𝘆ici𝗂, okay, I'll remember that. 𝘆ance, good, now follow me. 𝘆ici𝗂, hey, is it okay if I read the books and take some notes once we find them? I want to see if I can cast any other spells. 𝘆ance, sure, I don't mind so long as I get them when you're done. As they walk deeper into the forest, it has already become daybreak, and the fact that 𝘆ici𝗂 has never been to this part of the forest is unnerving. That was until he saw a small white rabbit in front of him. 𝘆ici𝗂, look. It's a harmless little bunny. The bunny then turns into a scary monster bunny and roars at 𝘆ici𝗂. 𝘆ici𝗂, that's the most vicious Lego morph I've ever set my eyes on. 𝘆ance, and I know why. The Book of Evil. The Book of Evil was a purple book with a circle in the middle and 4 arrows pointing vertically and horizontally. The final detail was a yellow V in the center and a black circle in the middle, making it look like an eye which symbolized evil. 𝘆ici𝗂 goes over and grabs it. 𝘆ici𝗂, it doesn't seem so bad. All of a sudden, an inky black substance crawled out of the book cover and over 𝘆ici𝗂's skin, sending chills through him. He wanted to put it down, but it refused. Soon the substance had covered his entire body. He thought for a moment that it might suffocate him, but instead, it dispersed as fast as it covered him. All the while he was laughing maniacally. He looks at himself in the reflection of a puddle of water and sees that his appearance completely changed, and he loves his new villainous look. Izuku's hair was now a mix of green and black hair, and he was now wearing a black long-sleeve shirt, gray vest, red tie, and black. Izuku opens the book and reads through it, learning as many spells from it as he can, as well as taking down notes with one of the notebooks he still had. He then closes the book and turns to 𝘆månstrox. 𝘆månstrox, quick! Feed me! Feed me! Izuku tosses the book of evil at 𝘆månstrox, who proceeds to swallow the book whole and then burps out a purple cloud. 𝘆månstrox, oh yeah, laughs. Let's get this party started. Both laugh. Izuku, man, this feels amazing. 𝘆månstrox, I know, the book of evil brings out your inner darkness. You'll still be the same as before, but with a more devilish and evil personality. Izuku, so what now? 𝘆månstrox, for now we need to lay low. The heroes will be looking for us, so we need somewhere to hide. Izuku, what if we go to Kamino? It's one of the more crime-ridden cities in Japan, and we might find somewhere to hide. 𝘆månstrox, good thinking. They head off to Kamino. Izuku was able to make contact with his mother and reassured her that he was okay, and came up with an excuse as to why he hasn't come home yet, but Inko could tell Izuku wasn't telling the truth, but she went along with it either way. They arrived. They passed by some villains talking. Villain 1, you think it's legit that they have a way to defeat All Might? This caught the duo's attention. They went over to the villains. 𝘆månstrox, excuse me, but what's this about defeat All Might? Villain 2, a group called the League of Villains is recruiting villains to attack a UA facility. Izuku, that sounds interesting. We want in. Villain 3, huh? What can a kid like you do? You're nothing. They laugh at Izuku, which causes him to remember the laughter of his former peers, and it makes him angry. He opened 𝘆månstrox and summoned 2 monsters. One was the Black Cyclops from when Bakugo confronted him, and the other was a large red magma monster with a skull-like head and horns. In place of a right arm was a cannon, and he had spikes on the sides of his waist. 𝘆månstrox, okay, what do we got? Both, 𝘆månstrox and 𝘆parks, ready to serve you. Izuku, take them down. The duo looked at the frightened villains and started beating them to a pulp. This brawl was quickly ended by the appearance of a villain whose entire body is made out of a dark purple mist, save for his eyes, which are glowing yellow. He wears a very elegant suit with a tie and has a metal brace that goes from around his collarbone to just below his eyes. Now gentlemen, there's no need for such violence, save it for the attack. Izuku calls off 𝘆månstrox and 𝘆parks. The mist villain turns to Izuku and narrows his eyes. Before surrounding Izuku, 𝘆månstrox, and the 3 monsters with his mist, suddenly the mist disappears and they look around and see themselves in a bar. 𝘆ኩrogyri, what is the meaning of this? They turn to see a slim man with pale skin, tinged yellow teeth, and a great deal of wrinkles around his eyes from scraping at allergies that irritated the surrounding skin. His lips are chapped and uneven, a small mole on the right underneath, with visible scars on his right eye and under his lip. He has messy, grayish-blue hair of varying lengths. The longest clumps reach to about his shoulders, left hanging over his face in uneven waves. His eyes and mouth are normally obscured, but Izuku could make out they were usually stretched wide in a rather maniacal manner, their bright red irises very small. His villain costume consisted of 14 embalmed hands, all positioned so they were holding on to him on different parts of his body. The mist villain, who was identified as 𝘆ኩrogyri, bows. 𝘆ኩrogyri, apologies young sir, but he wanted me to bring them here since he saw what they are capable of. Gore, fine. 𝘆månstrox, what's going on, and why did you bring us here? 𝘆ኩrogyri, forgive me, our taser saw what you did and he wished to discuss the plan with you. Izuku, okay, where is he? There's no need for concern. A monitor turns on and a voice comes out of it. Allow me to introduce myself. I am All for One. You may not know who I am since I have been absent for the past 5 years, and the news of my battle with All Might was never published, but I am not to be trifled with. Please introduce yourselves. I wish to know the names of my students' new partners. Izuku Midoriya. I'm sort of new to this whole villain thing, but I wish to destroy the corruption caused by the Hero Commission. 𝘆månstrox, I am 𝘆_ᴂ, though I currently go by the Book of Monsters. And these 3 are monsters the kid summoned from me. A summoner, we could use someone like you on our team. But this is no job for a mere beginner. �ᴂ, now 𝘆_ᴂ, they seem very capable, at least give them a chance to prove themselves. 𴘠ⴓ, fine, they can come. ɪzuku, don't worry, we won't let you down. 𝘆_ᴂ, yeah, and with us, you'll have a much better chance at winning. 𝘠ⴓ, so, let's discuss the plan. They begin discussing the plan for the attack on the USJ. 𝘆_ᴂ got a fascination with the Nomu, which 𝘱 explained was created from deceased bodies. This gave 𝘆_ᴂ and ɪzuku an idea for the future. 𝘠ⴓ and 𝘊egyri had already teleported some villains to the USJ, and now they just had to wait for the class to arrive. ɪzuku, sorry I'm late, I had trouble putting on my costume. They all looked at ɪzuku and were both amazed and scared at his costume design. 𝘆_ᴂ, whoa, you look terrifying. ɪzuku, thanks, the original design was supposed to make me look like All Might, but now that I'm with the villains, I had to come up with a whole new look. 𝘠ⴓ, alright, let's do this. 𝘊egyri opens a portal and they walk through along with the rest of the villains. In his villain costume, he covers himself in his dark fog, with only the metal brace around his neck being visible. The bookkeeper opens 𝘆_ᴂ and ɪzuku waves his staff over the pages summoning monsters. ɪzuku, nasty evil monsters, come forth and serve me. Make the folks around us wet there and flee. Dozens of globlins and scurriers emerged, along with 𝘆ⴂ and Sparks. The erasure hero, 𝘰🐵, then came down and started attacking the villains, deactivating their quirks in the process. 𝘠ⴓ gave 𝘊egyri the command to separate the class. ɪzuku, I feel a little queasy. 𝘆_ᴂ, don't barf on me. Just remember, this is your chance to get back at all those people who laughed at you. Who thinks you're nothing but a punching bag for them to use their quirks on. ɪzuku then recalls all the times he was laughed at and bullied for being quirkless, and it made him angrier with every laugh he heard. ɪzuku, stop it. Stop it. Stop hurting me. ɪzuku returns to reality and he is furious. It's time to attack. 𝘆_ᴂ, he's back and he's bad. Time to take down these hero students. ɪzuku, 𝘆ⴂ and Sparks, fling them. 𝘆ⴂ, sure thing, boss man. They pick up some globlins and throw them throughout the entire facility. This gives the villains an advantage over the hero students. Suddenly 𝘆_ᴂ pulls ɪzuku aside. 𝘆_ᴂ, hey kid, I can sense something nearby, it's in the ruin zone. ɪzuku, got it. They head off to the ruin zone and when they arrive they see a statue of a hooded figure holding a tablet. 𝘆_ᴂ, I knew it, it's a 𝘆ᴂ and it's got one of the forbidden powers. ɪzuku, forbidden powers. 𝘆_ᴂ, spells that I created when I was still human, if we can get it, we'll have a better advantage. ɪzuku, so what do we do? 𝘆_ᴂ, if we're gonna get that forbidden power, I need to bring that 𝘆ᴂ to life. ɪzuku, how? 𝘆_ᴂ, open me on the final page, and I'll come out as a storm cloud that can animate stone statues. The bookkeeper opens him on the last page. ɪzuku, okay. Waves staff over page, magic erupts from the book, and then a cloud forms with 𝘆_ᴂ's face. 𝘆_ᴂ, and now to bring that 𝘆ᴂ to life. 𝘆_ᴂ hits the statue with lightning. First, it falls apart, then it reforms into a hooded stone creature holding a stone tablet. The tablet has an image of a helmet that appears to be falling apart. Book. The forbidden power of relentless rust. Put it in my staff. ɪzuku does as instructed. ɪzuku, now what? 𝘆_ᴂ, point it at anything made of metal and relentless rust will do the rest. ɪzuku sees some exposed metal beams inside the building and points the staff at them. A red ball shoots out and hits the metal, causing it to rust. It then breaks and the part of the building it was holding up falls to the ground. ɪzuku, whoa, that's pretty cool. 𝘆_ᴂ, the 𝘆ᴂ that guarded that forbidden power can also use its powers, give it a try. ɪzuku looked to the 𝘆ᴂ and instructed it to use relentless rust on 2 more metal beams. The same result happened. ɪzuku, now that's impressive. Hey, while you're like this, can you make more monsters from stone? 𝘆_ᴂ, sure, anything with a face and form is fair game for me to zap to life. 𝘆_ᴂ then sees more statues and zaps them to life. They had a similar appearance to the globlins and scurriers. except some of said stone goblins were flat and had blue spikes on them, and they mainly rolled like wheels. There were also statues of short creatures wearing helmets, and gargoyles which he also zapped to life. They had a purple and gray color scheme, with one of them which acted like the leader being dark blue. I am General Garg. Izuku, good, you will all do nicely. Monstrox's body begins to get smaller and he returns to his book. Monstrox, darn it, I'm still not powerful enough to maintain that form. Oh well, I did my part. Just as they were about to leave they heard an explosion and dodged out of the way seeing Katsuki Bakugo and Eijiro Kirishima. Izuku, that's a very dirty trick attacking someone when their backs are turned. Hello Kaken, it looks like you made it into 𝘂𝘄. Though last I checked, the 𝘂𝘄 has zero tolerance for bullies, so why are you here? Bakugo, I'm gonna kill you, Deku. Bakugo launches at Izuku, but Izuku uses a spell he learned from the Book of Evil to attack him with an energy blast from the staff. Eijiro, Bakubro, you okay? Bakugo, let me go sh*tdy hair. Izuku, still giving people bad nicknames, why am I not surprised? Eijiro, Bakubro, do you know this guy? Izuku, you didn't tell them about me, Kaken, I'm upset, they should at least know about your former best friend, the one you beat up and had everyone else do the same. Eijiro, he'd never do that, you're lying. Izuku, am I? Izuku then lifted his shirt to reveal his body covered in scars, most of which looked like they were caused by explosions. Izuku, this is what he and everyone who was against me did. These explosion scars came from him. The sight horrified the red-haired boy. The boy that he wanted to be friends with did that to his former best friend and drove him to villainy. Izuku, now, we'd best take our leave, but before that, let me show you how much I've changed. Kaken. Izuku removes his mask showing his new appearance. Izuku, we'll meet again Kaken, but next time, I won't be so merciful. Izuku puts his mask back on and uses relentless rust on Bakugo's gauntlets causing them to rust and turn to dust. Izuku and Monstrox leave the ruined zone and return to find Tamura using decay on Eraserhead. Izuku quickly makes his way to them and pulls Tamura's arm away. Tamura, what are you doing? I had him. Izuku, he's had enough. I joined to get rid of the corruption caused by the Hero Commission. Eraserhead and the teachers at UA are the only ones who aren't corrupt, and I don't want to be associated with murder. Tamura, 𝘵liche, fine, we're leaving anyway since All Might didn't show up. Izuku, well, it wasn't much of a waste, we got some more monsters and a new power. Kurogiri, impressive. Suddenly the doors blew open and All Might came in, but he wasn't smiling. I am here and I am not happy. Tamura, finally, the final boss is here. To Izuku, call off your monsters, I want to see how this goes. Izuku, if you insist. Izuku instructs the monsters to back away as All Might arrives at the plaza. Tamura, Nomu, take him down. Tamura, no way, Monster was wrong, he hasn't gotten any weaker. Izuku, I wouldn't say that, look closely, he's straining himself. He's definitely gotten weaker, we were just unlucky is all. Tamura tries to attack All Might in a last-ditch attempt, but he is met with a bullet shot through his arms and legs. They all look up at the stairs to see the UA faculty has arrived. What surprised them the most was that they were actually able to defeat the lava monsters, which turned back into the smoke and got reabsorbed by Monstrox. Once he absorbed the final few monsters he let out a belch. Izuku, well, we can't win them all, now what? Monstrox, ahem, a new lesson. He who fights and runs away, lives to fight another day. Retreat. The bookkeeper runs towards the heroes. No. Retreat the other way. The bookkeeper stops the other way, dopey monster. Bookkeeper made a quick 180 degrees and sped back to the group. Izuku, Monstrox, the bookkeeper, and the stone monsters return to Tamura and Kurogiri, who open a portal and help them escape. Kurogiri opens his portal in the bar. Tamura, shot in both arms and legs. All those underlings were wiped out, and even Nomu was beaten. We failed. Those kids were so strong. Even though the symbol of peace was weakened, he still beat us. 𝘆_, I see, we weren't just as prepared as we should have been. Another voice spoke from the monitor, and this one sounded familiar to Izuku, but he didn't recognize it. I agree, we underestimated them. Thankfully we failed under that cheap league of villains name, and not our own. And what about the creature 𝘆:shi and I created? Where is Nomu? 𝘆:". Yes, why is he not with you? 𴑘uroģairi, he was blown away. What? 𴑘uroģairi, it was All Might's doing. Without coordinates to his precise location I couldn't use my warp to bring him us. We didn't have any time to search for him. This is a travesty, and after all we did to make him as powerful as All Might. 𝘆:. Well, I suppose it can't be helped, unfortunately. Tamura, power, that reminds me, Izuku, about what you and Monstrox found in the ruined zone. Izuku, yes, I almost forgot. 𝘆: Oh, what is this I hear? Monstrox, we uncovered something at the USJ that belonged to me when I was still human, a forbidden power. 𝘆: And what is this forbidden power you speak of? Monstrox, care to demonstrate? Izuku nods and orders the stone monsters to bring him some metal. Izuku pointed the staff at it and used relentless rust, causing the metal to rust and crumble. Izuku, the forbidden power of relentless rust, can rust anything made of or infused with metal, weakening it incredibly, and this is only one of many forbidden powers. 𝘆: Well now, that's interesting, and how does this benefit us? Monstrox, why tell you when we can show you? Izuku, after Tamura is healed of course. But by tomorrow, we're going on a little trip. 𝘆: Very well, and this was not a futile loss. We've learned many things. Gather the villainous elite, and take all the time you need. I must remain hidden in the shadows, which is why I need you both to be my face, symbols of your own Tamura Shigaraki and Izuku Midoriya. Next time you will show the world that it should be afraid of you. Izuku and Monstrox grinned, giving off the impression that they have something in store that would greatly benefit their team. The League woke up the next morning and headed down to the bar. Monstrox gave 𝘑uroģairi the coordinates for where they have to take the forbidden power. He teleports them to the top of a mountain where they see some sort of ritualistic site with 10 stone pillars. To the ground on which they stood had markings on them, and appeared as if they could move. In the center, there was a hole like something was supposed to fit in it. Monstrox, welcome to Mount Thunderstrucks. 𝘑uroģairi, good view, and the architecture is incredible. 𝘆: Monitor, this must have existed centuries ago. Monstrox, which is why we're here. Monstrox takes on his cloud form with Izuku walking towards the center of the site. Izuku, so, we're here with the tablet, and your staff. What do we do? Monstrox, the staff is like a key. Insert it and transfer relentless rust into the first stone pillar. Monstrox then takes on his cloud form and creates an electric storm with each bolt of lightning hitting the tops of the stone pillars. Monstrox, transfer forbidden power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the first stone pillar. Izuku, in magic dark we always trust. Now take this power of relentless rust. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the first stone pillar. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. Izuku, so what did that do anyway? Monstrox, don't worry, all will be revealed in due time. For now, let's get back to base. Tamura, you'd better leave some guards to protect this place. Izuku, good idea, the gargoyles should do. Izuku walks up to the gargoyles. Izuku, stay here and guard this place until we get back. Gargoyle, right, never leave this place even if you come back. Tamura, no, guard this place until we come back. Gargoyle, alright. They were about to leave until they noticed the gargoyles were following them. Izuku, what are you doing? Gargoyle, we're coming with you. Monstrox, they got rocks for brains, remember? Then they said stay here. This time they did leave and the gargoyles stayed behind. Monstrox, hey kid, try casting relentless rust again. Izuku, but I already Monstrox, just try it. Izuku was confused but did as instructed. The monsters brought a sheet of metal and Izuku cast relentless rust, and to his surprise he actually did it. Monstrox, just as I thought, you're not just a regular kid Izuku, you're a descendant of a wizard, you were able to learn a forbidden power, and now you're able to use it without the tablet. Izuku, whoa, amazing. 𝘑uroģairi, well, that should be useful to us in the future. Monstrox, alright, let's get some rest, and tomorrow we can start looking for another evil book. They agreed, and then suddenly 𝘰𴂃 realized something. 𴰇ᴅ, oh no. 𴘘𝗟, what is it, 𝘰𴂃? 𝘰𴂃 was about to answer until his phone rang and he took it out, seeing that the caller was his mother. 𝘰𴂃, it's my mom. ♯, oh, I knew we forgot something. ♯, what's the big deal anyway? 𝘰𴂃, I never told her I became a villain. The last time she called I made up an excuse, but Kakin saw me, so he might have told her. 𝘰𴂃 was panicking. ♯ offered to use his quirk on her, but 𝘰𴂃 just gave him a death glare which made even him terrified. Finally, 𝘰𴂃 worked up the courage to answer. 𝘰𴂃, hi mom. Yes, okay. 𝘰𴂃 ended the call and sighed heavily. 𝘰𴂃, ⴘᴠ-ᴟ, take me to this address. ♯, you're really going to her? 𝘰𴂃, she's my mom. She was the only person who ever showed me any kindness, even after I was declared quirkless. I have to face this. ⴘᴠ-ᴟ, alright. ⴘᴠ-ᴟ opens a portal and 𝘰𴂃 walks through. He finds himself at the door to the apartment he and 𝘰𝑚 lived in, and he opens the door seeing his mother standing across from the couch. 𝘰𴂃 walks in and closes the door. He sits down on the couch ready to face whatever was going to happen. 𝘰𝑚, 𝘰𴂃 midoriya. 𝘰𴂃, mind here it comes. Suddenly 𝘰𝑚 hugged her son, which confused 𝘰𴂃. 𝘰𝑚, I'm so glad you're safe. 𝘰𴂃, I thought you'd be mad. I joined villains. I was part of an attack. 𝘰𝑚, I'm not mad, honey, a little surprised, but how could I be mad at you? I've always loved you, and nothing will change that. Honey, I knew about the bullying. I saw the scars last month. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you when you needed it. 𝘰𴂃 was shocked at what he heard. His mother was actually okay with him being a part of a group of villains, and she still loved him in spite of what had transpired. 𝘰𴂃, Mom, I didn't want you to see those scars. I didn't want it to ruin your relationship with Auntie. 𝘰𝑚, honey, I don't blame her for what happened to Katsuki. Truth be told, she's been blaming herself for it, and she tried to de-escalate him. It did help a little, but he still wouldn't change. 𝘰𴂃, I guess this just gives me more reason to destroy the corruption in society. It encourages children to discriminate against others. 𝘰𝑚, 𝘰𴂃, I want to let you know that no matter what happens, I'll always love you. They hugged each other and 𝘰𴂃 melted in his mother's warm embrace. 𝘰𴂃, I'd better go. 𝘰𝑚, come by any time, sweetie. 𝘰𴂃, I will, Mom. 𝘰𴂃 leaves the apartment now, at ease with what has transpired. ⴘᴠ-ᴟ opens his warp gate and he goes through. ♯, so, how did it go? 𝘰𴂃 smiles. She supports my decision. ♯, what? How can she should hate you for joining us. 𝘰𴂃, my mom's not like that. She cares for me and supports my decisions. Why would you? Oh, your parents didn't support your decisions, did they? Or more specifically one? ♯, I don't have to tell you anything. 𝘰𴂃, I won't pry into your personal life, but you'll have to tell us eventually. ♯, ♯, storms off to his room. ⴘᴠ-ᴟ, don't let his outburst get to you. He's been that way since Emperor found him. 𝘰𴂃, I'm not that easily offended, but if someone talks bad about or threatens my mom, then they're in a lot of trouble. 𝘰𴂃 and ♯ head to their rooms to get as much sleep as they can. The next morning they all woke up early to search for another evil book. 𝘰𴂃, Yon, why'd you wake me up? ♯, you want to be evil. Getting up early is evil, right? Besides, you're supposed to be dreaming of conquering this land, kid. ♯, I still can't believe you dragged us along with you. ♯, sniffing, hey, another book? Hang a right. The bookkeeper goes left, the rest of the team follows behind. ♯, no, dummy, you're other right. The bookkeeper turns around, and they crash into each other. 𝘰𴂃, why'd you change direction? They all hear the sound of a storm and see a tornado forming in some ruins. ♯, groans, there, in that ruin, is another evil book. Laughing, I'm so hungry. Let's hurry up and find it. 𝘰𴂃 opens ♯. 𝘰𴂃, I've always enjoyed reading books, and I'm loving every second of this. 𝘰𴂃 summons some goblins and sends them to get the book. Suddenly it started to rain. Just as the goblins got closer to the book, gravity was reversed and they floated off the ground along with the team. Suddenly the gravity returned to normal and they fell back to the ground. They get closer to the book, but the strong winds are pushing them away, and then the air gets colder as it briefly snows, and then starts to hail. 𝘰𝑐𝗂, what is this chaos? 𝘆ᴍᴏ, you gotta go shut that book? 𝘰𝑐𝗂 quickly rushed towards the book while being pelted by pieces of hail. 𝘰𝑐𝗂 finally managed to close the book, stopping the chaotic weather phenomenon. The book had a white cover with a golden circle in the center, with 4 arrows surrounding it. The 2 longer ones were pointing diagonally up left and bottom right, while the 2 shorter arrows pointed to the top right and bottom left, making it appear like a rhombus. The symbol in the center had the appearance of a skull, which also symbolized chaos. 𝘰𝑐𝗂 quickly reads through it before the rest of his allies rejoined him. 𝘆ᴍᴏ, whoa, the Book of Chaos. Oh, an excellent find. 𝘠ⴃ, chaos monsters. Sounds great. 𝘠ⴃ tries to feed the book to 𝘆ᴍᴏ, but he won't let them, and 𝘰𝑐𝗂 helps keep the book away from his partner. 𝘆ᴍᴏ, not so fast. I mean, this is a good book. An evil book. But 𝘰𝑐𝗂's not strong enough to control chaos monsters. 𝘠ⴃ, shut your face, book. Your opinion doesn't matter to me. So eat. 𝘆ᴍᴏ, hey. 𝘠ⴃ, eat it. 𝘠ⴃ forces the Book of Chaos down 𝘆ᴍᴏ's throat, and 𝘰𝑐𝗂 is too late to stop him. 𝘆ᴍᴏ, they stand back. 𝘆𝘶 the bookkeeper opens 𝘆ᴍᴏ on the Chaos Monster section, and they emerge without 𝘰𝑐𝗂 needing to summon them. 𝘠ⴃ, see, chaos monsters, now get them to listen to us. 𝘰𝑐𝗂, okay, I'll try. Okay, time to line up and obey your emissary. The monsters stopped for a moment, but then they went on with being chaotic. 𝘆ᴍᴏ, I don't want to say I told you so, but come here. 𝘠ⴃ approaches 𝘆ᴍᴏ closer. 𝘠ⴃ gets closer, I told you so. I mean, who could have predicted that? Oh, that's right. Me too. 𝘰𝑐𝗂, he warned me that something like this might happen, and look what happened. 𝘠ⴃ, I don't need you. I can clean up my own mess. 𝘰𝑐𝗂, 𝘆ᴍᴏ, and the bookkeeper turn their backs on 𝘠ⴃ as he tries to sort out the chaos monsters, but to no avail. 𝘠ⴃ, okay, I give. What do we have to do? 𝘆ᴍᴏ, don't need us. Page 37. Summon him. He'll be able to control them. The monster was humanoid in appearance with red skin. It wore a CC plate which had the face of a goblin on it, along with a loin cloth and a brown hood. He wore an eye patch over his left eye with visible scarring on it, and a yellow beard on the right side of his face. He was holding a pair of chains which were chained to 2 goblins. 𝘰𝑐𝗂, I summon you, O great 𝘵𝘆ᴄ, to help me go and herd disaster. 𝘵𝘆ᴄ, what is your bidding? 𝘰𝑐𝗂, oh hey, 𝘵𝘆ᴄ. Oh, do your little goblins bite? 𝘰𝑐𝗂 pets the goblin on the left who actually enjoyed it. 𝘵𝘆ᴄ, no. Just as 𝘰𝑐𝗂 was about to pet the other goblin it tried to bite him, 𝘰𝑐𝗂 quickly retracted his arm and screamed. 𝘰𝑐𝗂, I thought you said he wouldn't bite. 𝘵𝘆ᴄ, he's not mine. I'm pet sitting. What is your bidding, 𝘰𝑐𝗂? 𝘰𝑐𝗂, get those monsters under control. And then build us a great, rolling, evil fort. I don't want us to overuse 𝘀𝗍 quirk. 𝘵𝘆ᴄ did as instructed and got the chaos monsters under control. He even introduced the goblins he had as 𝘄𝑐𝗟 and 𝘆ᴑ. 𝘄𝑐𝗟 was the tamed and more caring of the 2, and 𝘆ᴑ was erratic and enjoyed biting people. They returned to the base and introduced 𝘵𝘆ᴄ to 𝗹𝗲, who was impressed with his skills at controlling chaos monsters. 2 weeks later they watched the sports festival, and 𝘰𝑐𝗂 took down notes about their quirks and possible weaknesses, which was useful for the league. The next day 𝗹𝗲 sent an info broker to arrange a meeting with the hero killer, Stain. 𝘰𝑐𝗂 was a bit nervous to meet someone like him, but he did his best to make a good impression. Moments later 𝘀𝗍 teleported Stain into the bar. Just the parts where he is in the bar, Stain then turns to 𝘰𝑐𝗂, who tensed up, but remained calm. Stain, so kid, what is your goal? 𝘰𝑐𝗂, why are you asking me? You got an answer from 𝘠ⴃ. Stain, I can tell that you have a different viewpoint, so tell me, what is your goal? 𝘰𝑐𝗂, well, I want to destroy corruption in society. I was a victim of discrimination and bullying for being born quirkless, and I also saw how the heroes under the Hero Commission aren't doing the jobs of true heroes, but why go for some heroes when you can go for the top? Destroy the source of the corruption, and it will all fall. That is my goal, to create a fair and just society where no one would have to suffer because of something that they can't control. Stain looked at Izuku with surprise in his eyes. This kid was the real deal. In the eyes of the heroes he would be seen as a villain, but to others he would be seen as a true hero. Stain, that's what I wanted to hear. Alright, I'll help train the boy, but only after I finish some work in Hosu. 𝘱, very well. 𴑘uroģairi if you would. 𴑘uroģairi opens a portal and Stain finds himself back in Hosu. Izuku, he'll need some help if things take a turn for the worse. 𝘱, then you'd better help him. I'm sending 3 of our new Nomu to help you. They aren't as powerful as the last one, but they'll do. Tamura, why did you do that? I could have handled him myself. Izuku, Stain has more experience than any of us. You know, Tamura, there is some truth to what he said. The reason he rejected the offer to join when you gave your answer was because he has his own admiration for All Might. To him, All Might is what a true hero should be, someone who risks their own life to save another, despite knowing the dangers they charge head first into the fray to protect them. You can't blame him for rejecting the offer to begin with. I could tell that he was also wronged by society, and he aims to correct it, one hero at a time. 𝘱, well now, I'm impressed. You were able to read him like an open book and reveal some interesting facts about him. Izuku, it's a gift. The monitor cuts out and Tamura stands up. Monstrox, well, let's head over to Hosu and help support him. Izuku, all right, 𝘑uroģairi if you'd be so kind. 𝘑uroģairi, very well. 𝘑uroģairi opens a portal. They walk through and find themselves on the roof of a building. Izuku, I'll summon some monsters to cause some havoc. Monstrox, there are bound to be more statues here for you to bring to life. Monstrox, okay then. The bookkeeper opens Monstrox and Izuku summons some monsters. Once he is done, Monstrox takes on his cloud form and starts zapping the statues to life. They watched as the monsters wreaked havoc along with the Nomu. During this time Izuku was watching Stain fight against a hero student by the name of Tenya Ida, who was Tensei Ida, or Ingenium's younger brother. Stain managed to get the upper hand until Shoto Todoroki, the son of the number 2 hero, 𝘆stepped in and managed to knock Stain unconscious. They watched as the 2 students and paralyzed hero native stumble out of the alleyway. Just then, the winged Nomu flew down and grabbed a civilian. Stain quickly broke free from his restraints and grounded the Nomu while saving the civilian. Suddenly they hear him make a speech. 𝘑uroģairi, it seems your training with the hero killer will be put on hold for the time being. Izuku, regardless we were able to gather more allies. 𝘑uroģairi, would you mind teleporting these stone monsters back to base? 𝘑uroģairi, not at all. 𝘑uroģairi opens a portal under all the stone monsters and teleports them back to base. Once they are done, they return to base themselves. Izuku, now do you see why he does what he does? Tamura, yes, I understand now. We may have different viewpoints, but we both want the same thing. Izuku Midoriya, we also have the same ideals, but I gave the wrong reason. I'm eager to work with you in the future. Izuku, that's good to hear. The next day 𝘆ście unveiled the vehicle that Izuku requested, which Monstrox had the pleasure of naming the 𝘆𝑚obile. It was a large 2-wheeled carriage with 2 catapults on the back that fired goblins and a jail cell in the front. It didn't have an engine, so instead it had to be pulled with chains by larger monsters like 𝘆ⴌ and Sparks. The team was now riding the 𝘆𝑚obile to a new location. Izuku, yes, 𝘆𝑚obile is a good name, but this is not what I was hoping for. 𝘆ście, faster. Monstrox, that's what you get, genius, for having chaos monsters build the thing. It's a chaotic mess. And I want credit for naming it. The 𝘆𝑚obile. Izuku, fine by me. Though this has given me some ideas for vehicles that the other monsters can use. After all, our numbers will be increasing with every new book we find. Tamura, if it gets us closer to destroying this broken society, make it good. Izuku now took out his notebook and sketched a few drawings of what the monsters' future vehicles should look like. His current focus was 𝘆ście, who was commanding the monsters that were driving. The design was that of a hovering chariot with 2 larger goblins pulling it. There was also a catapult on the back that fired goblins. Izuku, hey 𝘆ście, I've made a design for a vehicle you can use. I call it the Chaos Chariot. 𝘆:"Sir, this looks good. I'll have the monsters work on it as soon as we return to base." They arrive at a swamp that has a very foul odor. ⴃ: "Duck. Why did you bring us here?" ⴡ: "That aroma is the reason we're here. I'm hot on the trail of another forbidden power, and it's right in there." There were some ruins of an old castle in the swamp which was barely visible due to the foul odor. "Wow, hope the owners had insurance." ⴡ: "You're looking at Castle 𝘆ᴜᴜ. What's left of it anyway? Come on." They enter the castle, which is covered in moss and vines. ⴃ: "Why would anybody build a castle in a disgusting swamp like this?" ⴡ: "Because it wasn't a swamp when they built it. This used to be a appealing palace on a majestic hill, till that happened." ⴃ: "What happened?" ⴡ: "My monsters. 3 especially nasty ones that are really good at grabbing stuff." ⴡ: points to 3 statues. ⴰ: "Well, what are they doing here?" ⴡ: "They must have got caught trying to take that forbidden power over there by some of Malik's forces when they tried to invade this place. They were frozen in place. We can use them." ⴡ: takes on his cloud form and zaps the statues with his lightning, bringing them to life. The statues had transformed into 3 stone female harpies which gave sinister smiles. Harpy 1: "Well, hello boys." Harpy 2: "Is that our old pal ⴡ: Harpy 3: "Looking a bit, cloudy." ⴡ: "Oh, the harpies, Hilda, Ingrid and Ulrich. Hello girls, these are my associates 𝘰𝑁𝐾, Tamura Shigaraki, and Kurogyri. The one in charge of those 2 is on the monitor with another associate. They've never seen your work. Wanna clean up that forbidden power down there for me?" Hilda: "Aye, sure." ⴰ: "How bad can they be?" They look kind of. The harpies start tearing off the moss and vines from the ⴂ statue, much to the disturbance of the rest of the team. Ulrika: "That felt good." Ingrid: "Like the old days." ⴃ: "They're, efficient." ⴡ: "Oh yeah, they're a good add to our evil legions. Now let's grab that forbidden power." ⴰ: "If I had to wager a guess, I'd say the forbidden power we're looking at is ravaging rot." ⴡ: zaps the ⴂ to life. The ⴂ had the same appearance as the one that had relentless rust, with the only difference being that it had a knight's helmet instead of a hood. The forbidden power's symbol had a green apple that appeared to be melting on it. ⴰ: takes the ravaging rot from the ⴂ and puts it in the staff. ⴡ: "Oh yeah, now that's some top-quality evil, and we get the harpies as a bonus." Kurogyri: "They are a little disconcerting." ⴡ: "Stutter, stop using big words to sound important. Right now, let's head back to Mount Thunderstrokes and plug this bad boy in." They make their way out of the swamp and back to the evil mobile. ⴃ: "So what does this forbidden power do?" Suddenly they notice an unattended food cart in it. ⴡ: "Try it on that food cart." ⴰ: "Okay." ⴰ: used ravaging rot on the cart and the wood rotted away and the wheels popped off. Tamura: "It wrecks wood. Kind of a letdown." ⴡ: "Giggles now the veggies." ⴰ: fires another blast, this time at the veggies, and all of them rotted. Tamura: "Okay, now that is pretty evil." ⴡ: "It'll rot meat, milk, juice, just about anything people eat. And anything made of wood." ⴃ: "Quite a brilliant plan. By rotting the food, you'll drive the people to starvation, and they'll have to get their food from other sources." ⴰ: "And by rotting any wooden structures like bridges, it will cut off travel." Shigaraki: "I think I'm going to enjoy seeing this power work." Once they returned to base, the monsters began construction on the new vehicles, 𝘆:MSDR's Chaos Chariot, and vehicles for the gargoyles and other humanoid stone monsters called the Gargoyle Copters. The next day they arrived at Mount Thunderstrokes to transfer ravaging rot. ⴡ: "Transfer forbidden power." The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the second stone pillar. ⴰ: "I need power, I need a lot, so take this power of ravaging rot." Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the first stone pillar. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. In the dark woods, ⴰ: Tamura, Kurogyri, and Monstrox are standing by a new evil book. ⴰ: had already finished reading it, and now they just had to feed it to Monstrox. Tamura is attempting to pick up the book with 2 long sticks. The book in question had a green cover with a golden circle in the center with 2 long golden arrows pointing diagonally up left and bottom right, 2 long black arrows pointing diagonally up right and bottom left, and 4 short arrows pointing vertically and horizontally. The inside of the circle was black with an open eye in the center with a green iris which symbolized fear. Monstrox, watch it, kid. You gotta be very careful. You don't want to touch the book of fear. 𝘠ⴃ, yeah, spooky book. All I care about is that we beat those heroes to it. Now just open wide and down the hatch. Using the sticks he pushes it into the Monstrox's mouth. He laughs evilly. 𝘁ⴃ okay, let's see what kind of monsters this gets us. Izuku takes Monstrox off bookkeeper and lays him against a large rock. He waves the staff over the pages which causes globlins with spider legs to appear out of the book. Izuku hides behind the rock. The spider globlins sing. A red woman with a snake tail in place of legs holding a pair of rises out of the book as well. She turns around to Izuku. Boo! Izuku screams and hides further behind his rock. Monstrox, hey scaredy pants, don't worry about 𝘁𝘆ᴟ here. As long as her don't touch ya, you're fine. 𝘁𝘁 cracks her off the staff for emphasis. Monstrox, ain't she terrifying? Izuku, yeah, she's plenty scary. But I see how she would fill others with fear. Like those pesky heroes. Finally, they will know real fear. Monstrox, and we now have more monsters in our army. 𝘁𝘁, it's good to be back, and I can't wait to strike fear into our enemies. They head back to the bar and introduce 𝘁𝘁 and the spider globlins to the rest of the league. Oh, Izuku, I have a task for you and Monstrox. Izuku, what is it? 𝘃, an acquaintance of mine by the name of Wolfram is planning to steal something from my island. I have the sense that he will fail to do so, but I want you to join him, in case there are any forbidden powers or evil books present. 𝘠ⴃ, hey, why not send me? 𝘃, I'm not taking a risk. Izuku and Monstrox can provide support for Wolfram, and once they're done 𝘁𝘃 can bring them back. 𝘠ⴃ grumbled fine. The duo discuss the idea and then give their answer. Monstrox, we're in. 𝘁𝘃 gives the duo small devices. 𝘁𝘃, once you're done, just press the button and I'll know your location and get you out. The next day they arrived at the docks where they were met with a villain wearing a metal mask. Izuku, I take it you're Wolfram. Wolfram, yes, and you must be the new member of the league. Izuku, yes, and this is my partner, Monstrox. Monstrox, I'd shake your hand if I had any. Wolfram, well, let's get a move on. They board the boat and head over to the floating artificial island known as 𝘰-Island. Izuku always wanted to come here himself as he got older, but now he gets to see it. It's too bad he has to be part of an attack. They arrived at the island and got into their assigned positions. What Izuku didn't count on was the arrival of All Might and some members of Class 1A, but the plan went ahead. Izuku summoned some monsters to help the villains with managing the civilians and captured heroes. Once they were done, they headed off to look for any new forbidden powers and evil books. They explored the facility until they came upon 2 𝘁𝘁s. Monstrox, well, would you look at that? 2 𝘁𝘁s for the price of 1. Izuku, and 2 new forbidden powers, which ones are they? Monstrox, collapsing crumble, which can cause anything made of rock and stone to crumble to dust. The other is blazing burn, which can set anything on fire. Izuku, collapsing crumble could be useful for making some quick escapes, and blazing burn will help in creating walls of fire to keep our enemies at bay. Let's free them. Monstrox zaps the 2 𝘁𝘁s to life and then Izuku takes collapsing crumble and puts it into the staff. It looked like a blue stone pillar that was crumbling away. Izuku, alright, let's test it out. Izuku points it at a nearby wall and shoots it with the forbidden power. Suddenly the wall crumbled to dust. Izuku, now that's impressive, not useful for strengthening our stone monsters, but still useful. But how am I going to carry 2 forbidden powers? Monstrox, don't worry, you can still insert another forbidden power. Izuku, okay. Izuku then takes blazing burn, which looked like yellow flames with a monstrous face. Izuku, I'd better not use it here, don't want to kill us in the process. Monstrox, good thinking, now let's keep searching, I can smell an evil book here. They searched the facility, making sure not to get spotted by the students until they found it. The book was red with a circle in the center, and the arrows pointing in all directions with the top and bottom arrows being a little longer than the rest. The interior of the circle was black, and the symbol inside looked like the fangs of some kind of beast which symbolized anger. The book was lodged in a wall and glowing. 𴑐𴜱, the Book of Anger. They approached the book. How come this whole facility isn't crazy angry? 𝘆månstrox, the book's lodged in the wall. The anger hasn't been able to get out. Quick, feed me, feed me, feed me. 𝘠𝑐𝜭 grabs the book and pulls it out of the wall. Suddenly he feels a sense of anger flow over him. 𝘠𝑐𝜭, yeah, keep your binding together, you rotten old lexicon. I know what I'm doing. Realizes what he said. Gasp, I'm so sorry, I don't know what came over me. 𝘆månstrox, no need to apologize, it's the book's power at play. 𝘠𝑐𝜭 quickly reads through the book and takes notes. Once he is finished, he feeds 𝘆månstrox the book. 𝘆månstrox, what are you looking at? 𝘠𝑐𝜭, nothing. 𝘆månstrox, oh yeah. This is one book full of angry. Okay, let's make some monsters. 𝘠𝑐𝜭 opens the book to the anger monsters section and begins summoning them. 𝘠𝑐𝜭, angry monsters, come forth and be real mad. Get so filled with anger, will be very, very bad. The new monsters that came out were a large ball made of globlins, which are called bloblins. Then emerged two more humanoid monster commanders. The first one looks like some kind of fire spirit, with flames for hair and a flame tail in place of legs. The second one was black with magma spikes on his shoulders. His lower arms and hands were red and large. Man, it's good to be out. So you're the kid the others have been talking about. I'm 𝘆𝘂, and this is my twin brother 𝘆𝘆. 𝘠𝑐𝜭, it's nice to meet you both. 𝘆𝘆, so what do you want us to do, boss? 𝘠𝑐𝜭, for now, you and the other monsters will have to protect us. 𝘆𝘂, you got it. 𝘆månstrox, now this is gonna be fun. 𝘆𝘚, Sparks, you need a little anger. 𝘆månstrox exhales a mist that touches both 𝘆𝘚 and Sparks, causing them to be filled with anger. 𝘠𝑐𝜭, keep the heroes occupied until we get that last book. Sparks, don't tell me what to do. 𝘆𝘚, shut up. Sparks, you shut up. The duo leaves along with some monsters while 𝘠𝑐𝜭, 𝘆månstrox, the bookkeeper, 𝘆𝘂, 𝘆𝘆, and a few other monsters head to the main lab. Once they arrive, they listen to 𝘱𝑚𝑒 confession to allowing the villains into Island to his daughter Melissa and 𝘂𝑐𝑒. They were about to leave when they saw Wolfram shoot David's assistant, Sam, get shot. This made 𝘠𝑐𝜭 angry. He had his monsters on standby. David's shield was about to block another bullet, only for it to be intercepted by a globlin, which then turned into smoke and returned to 𝘆månstrox. Wolfram, what is the meaning of this? 𝘠𝑐𝜭, we did not join your little escapade just to watch you attempt to commit murder. Wolfram, so what? I got what I want, and he's no longer useful. Though the professor, on the other hand, 𝘠𝑐𝜭, no, I won't let you separate a parent from their child. Wolfram, we had a deal. 𝘠𝑐𝜭, the deal's off. I may be a villain, but I'm not a murderer. 𝘠𝑐𝜭 opens 𝘆månstrox and summons more angry monsters. 𝘠𝑐𝜭, angry monsters, come forth and get this right. Use your nasty angriness to blast and beat Wolfram's villainous might. The monsters start charging at Wolfram, biting and punching him, with most of the punches coming from 𝘆𝘆, and 𝘆𝘂 is shooting fireballs. Wolfram then tries to attack 𝘠𝑐𝜭 with his quirk, but he channeled Relentless Rust into a magic shockwave that destroys them and knocks Wolfram back, causing him to drop the controller. 𝘠𝑐𝜭, our partnership is terminated. 𝘠𝑐𝜭 slams the staff down, destroying the remote. Just as Wolfram got up, All Might arrived and sent him flying. Never fear. But because I am here. 𝘂𝑐𝑒, All Might, thank goodness you're here. Yes, now to arrest this young man. Melissa, wait, he saved us. What, is this true? 𝘠𝑐𝜭, I may be a villain, but I am against murder. 𝘂𝑐𝑒 and Melissa smiled a little. Be that as it may, I'm still going to have to take you in. 𝘠𝑐𝜭 then notices something. 𝘠𝑐𝜭, I think you'll have to deal with that first. They turn around to see Wolfram, with the quirk-boosting device fused with the structure. All Might and Melissa head down to fight it. 𝘠𝑐𝜭, so she's his successor. You made a good choice, All Might. 𝘰𴑂𴜇 then summons more monsters and sends them to help 𝘆𝘁 and 𴘆𴜀. 𝘰𴑂𴜇 and Monstrox watched the fight as the shockwaves sent them tumbling into a desk where 𝘰𴑂𴜇 noticed something. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, mind that snow globe. The monsters and 𝘆𝘁 continue to fight Wolfram until both 𝘆𝘁 and 𴘆𴜀 deliver a double United States of Smash. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, phew, they won. They see the heroes approaching them. Monstrox, and now it's our time to leave. Monstrox reabsorbs the monsters and 𝘰𴑂𴜇 pushes the button. A warp gate appears and they escape through it. David, Toshi, thanks for saving me. AM, no problem Dave. David looks at his desk and sees something's missing. David, hey, where'd that snow globe go? Back at the LOV bar. A warp gate opens and 𝘰𴑂𴜇, Monstrox, Flamma, Molter, and the two Rogals come through. ⴑ I take it Wolfram failed. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, yeah, but we got what we needed. 2 new forbidden powers and the power of the Book of Anger. 𝘃, excellent work. Get some rest, you deserve it. They headed to bed and got some rest. 𝘰𴑂𴜇 called his mother and told her about his trip to Island. The next morning they woke up and found Tamura and ⴑ at the bar with a monitor on. 𝘃, Midoriya, Monstrox, it appears something else came up. A strange maze has appeared in a valley not too far from here, any idea why? Monstrox, it could be the work of a magic book, we'd better go there and find out. They head to the evil mobile and load it with monsters. Thanks to ⴑ's quirk they arrive at the maze without anyone knowing. They climb out and see the entrance. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, okay, let's go in. They all head inside and suddenly the entrance closes. Tamura, great, we're trapped. ⴑ, trying to use warp gate, I can't use my quirk. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, looks like we're gonna have to beat this maze if we're gonna get out. They walk ahead and then they come up on 3 paths. Monstrox, conjure up some scouts, magic madman. 𝘰𴑂𴜇 waves the staff over the Monstrox. Monsters materialize. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, monsters, walk ahead of us. You go to the right. You go left. The 2 goblins go in those directions. They both explode into magical dust. The team reacts with shock. The dust flies back to Monstrox who consumes it. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, command decision, we go straight ahead. Monstrox, that was a tough call. They continued walking ahead and encountered many different traps and illusions. Tamura, oh, this maze is impossible. Monstrox, relax. You just gotta think smarter. We'll smell it out. Sniffs at air, it's that way. Tamura gets frustrated and takes the staff from 𝘰𴑂𴜇. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, hey, give that back. Tamura, monsters, I'm going crazy. Help me navigate this wacky maze. Tamura douses the monsters with magic. Tamura, fastest route from one place to another is a straight line. Straight ahead. The monsters attack the wall, knocking it down. Tamura, see, I'm a genius. A giant boulder comes down the path, crushing them all. They get up, dazed. Tamura, what? Glad that's rolled by. The boulder comes back down, crushing them all again. They stand up again though 𝘰𴑂𴜇's scarf is slightly trapped under the boulder. He pulls it free. He crouches down to find the Monstrox stuck under the boulder. Monstrox, our fearless leader, the genius. 𝘰𴑂𴜇 frees Monstrox, the bookkeeper, and the monsters that got rolled over. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, looks like we can't brute force our way through, we'll have to take the long way. They continued walking until they reached 2 doors. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, Monstrox, can you translate this? Monstrox, sure. Let's see. Now your path you must choose. Pick wisely or you will lose. A helpful maiden you might find or a horrible monster, most unkind. ⴑ, how do we know which door is which? Tamura, how can we choose without knowing? 𝘰𴑂𴜇, in background by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Monstrox, it's a riddle and we have to figure it out. ⴑ, okay, let's take a moment. Nobody does anything. 𝘰𴑂𴜇, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. 𝘰𴑂𴜇 opens one of the doorways. The others shout at him to stop. The other villains charge at the doorway but stop when an appealing maiden walks out. Maiden, greetings, brave warriors. Tamura, hello. Tamura Shigaraki. And you are? Maiden, I am called Zoot. ⴑ, greetings Zoot, I am ⴑ. How do we find the evil book we're looking for? 𝘁 gestures at the path behind the doorway she came out of. 𝘠ⴃ, all right. Let's go. 𝘁, wait. 𝘁 pushes the other door open. The other villains except for Monstrox rush over, and a huge monster made of rock walks out. 𝘁 smiles and steps forward. 𝘁, what is your name? Monster, my name is Dingo. The other villains look shocked. 𝘠ⴃ, that is a girl. 𝘁, which is the true path to the book? Dingo shows the path behind her. ⴑ the glyph said a helpful maiden, not a appealing maiden. 𝘁, and the monster would be horrible, not hideous. Having been found out, 𝘁 summons 2 swords in a cloud of purple smoke. 𝘁, too late. You're doomed. She is suddenly picked up by Dingo. Dingo, bad 𝘁. Bad, wicked, naughty 𝘁. You will be punished. To the villains go and find what you seek. The League of Villains goes forth through the correct doorway. They continued walking till 𝘑𝑗 asked 𝘁 a question. 𝘑, hey Midoriya, how did you know that 𝘁 was the monster? 𝘁, well, nothing is as it appears in this place. I was wondering how the book ended up here, but then I remembered Monstrox told me that there was only one book capable of doing this, the Book of Deception. 𝘠ⴃ, your mother must be so proud of you. 𝘁 suddenly grabs 𝘠ⴃ and holds him in the air. 𝘁, was that a crack at my mother, Shigaraki? 𝘠ⴃ, no, your mother is lovely. I can't wait for a big bowl of her katsudon if she visits, or we visit her. 𝘁 smiles and puts 𝘠ⴃ down, apparently having forgiven him. 𝘁, yeah, sorry, I'm just really protective of my mom, she's done so much for me, I want to protect her with all my heart. Little girl, distantly, hello. Someone help me please. Monstrox, what was that? 𝘠ⴃ, ghosts. ⴑ it's not ghosts, that was a little girl. 𝘁, ⴑ wait. ⴑ runs off to find the little girl. Little girl, distantly, help me. ⴑ turns a corner and keeps running. ⴑ runs into a hall and sees the little girl tied up in a stone chair on the other side of the hall. As he attempts to reach her, darts shoot out of the wall. He blocks them with his mist and then jumps over them towards the little girl. ⴑ don't worry, I've got the little girl, laughs evilly and disappears into a cloud of monster dust. ⴑ looks back and sees the others at the opposite end of the hall. Tiles on the floor start to fall. ⴑ jumps back across them to reach his teammates. On his last jump, he barely reaches the other side and is left hanging on a vine before 𝘁 pulls him up. Monstrox, ⴑ everything in this maze is an illusion and deception. 𝘁, don't blame yourself, I would have done the same, but we need to consider all the variables, like why a little girl would be in here. ⴑ forgive me, I'll try to think more rationally before I act. They continued through the maze until they reached a large area, and in the center was a pedestal with a book on it. ⴠⴃ, too easy. He and ⴑ start to go towards the book before 𝘁 stops them. 𝘁, wait. Nothing is as it seems. Monstrox, he's right. Hear that? We're not alone. They were silent, and they could hear a faint sound. Monstrox, prepare for foul play. 𝘁 summons more monsters including 𝘁 and Molta. ⴠⴃ and ⴑ both look around confused. Monstrox, those rocks 𝘁 aren't rocks. The rocks turn out to be rock monsters, similar to Dingo. They all begin to fight until Monstrox calls out. Monstrox, the book. Get the book. As the monsters continue to fight the rock monsters, 𝘁 quickly rushes past them and reaches the book. The book was yellow with the circle having some black detailing. There were 2 long arrows pointing up and down, and 4 arrows pointing in diagonal directions. The symbol in the center was a question mark which symbolized deception. ⴑ what is it? 𝘁 picks up the book and reads an inscription. 𝘁, I am the book of deception and I cannot tell the truth. 𝘁 is about to open the book. ⴠⴃ, Kitno. There might be heroes here. 𝘁, we have to know. 𝘁 opens the book and the maze and monsters turn to dust. ⴠⴃ, okay, I'm confused. What was the point of this whole thing? 𝘁, it was a ruse, to take someone else's focus away from getting the real book. They all turn around to see a bunch of heroes from �ᴂ. They started running back to the 𝘆𴜆ᴅ. The heroes chase after them, but they are able to get to the 𝘆𝜆ᴅ in time to send some monsters to hold the heroes off. Monstrox, to �ᴂ bring me the Book of Deception. Hurry. We've only got a small window to pull this off. �ᴂ does as instructed while the villains are commanding the monsters. They returned moments later and �ᴂ was holding the book. �ᴂ, to Monstrox now. Should I do it now? Monstrox, wait for it. The heroes keep fighting off the monsters until more heroes arrive. 𝘁𝑒, to Monstrox, should I do it now? Monstrox, wait for it. The heroes now started to get the upper hand. 𝘁𝑒, now. Monstrox, wait for it. The number of monsters was dropping like flies. 𝘁𝑒, how about now? Monstrox, wait for it. Just as all seemed lost, Monstrox spoke up. Book of Monsters, now. 𝘁𝑒, 𝘆ⴂ, hurry. They've won. Get us out of here. Hurry. Monstrox, toss it. 𝘁𝑒 tosses the Book of Deception onto the ground behind the 𝘆𝜆ᴅ. The book? We have to secure the Book of Deception. They manage to get to it, but the villains get away. Midna, oh man, they got away. Aizawa, yeah, but we got the book and that's our main mission. Back with the villains. Tamura, I can't believe you just handed them that book after we almost died to get it. Monstrox, did we? 𝘁𝑒 reaches into his pocket and pulls out the real Book of Deception, which shocked the villains. 𝘁𝑒, the one we gave them was a copy created by the original, and I was able to read through it in the time it took for us to keep them occupied. ⴑ won't they figure out that we gave them another bogus copy of the Book of Deception? Monstrox, yeah, eventually. But by the time they do, we'll be long gone. ⴑ, well, let's head back. ⴑ opens his warp gate and they return to their base. 𝘁𝑒 holds it tightly as they enter the bar. 𝘁𝑒 is Gestro. Tamura and ⴑ help with feeding the books to Monstrox. Monstrox, okay, that's another book dealt with. Now 𝘁𝑒 and I'd better head to Mount Thunderstrox to get these forbidden powers finally transferred. ⴑ uses his quirk to teleport them to Mount Thunderstrox where they begin with the transference. Monstrox, transfer forbidden power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the third stone pillar. 𝘁𝑒, with this magic I'll make the heroes fumble. I give to you collapse and crumble. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the first stone pillar. The duo then laugh maniacally. Monstrox, good, now let's transfer Blazing Burn, and that will make 4. 𝘁𝑒 puts Blazing Burn's tablet into the staff and they do the ritual again. Monstrox, transfer forbidden power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the fourth stone pillar. 𝘁𝑒, it is now finally our turn. So take this power, Blazing Burn. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the fourth standing stone. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. ⴑ then brings them back as Tamura sits at the bar. Shigaraki, you all have been the talk of the town for the past few days. I hear you're starting something big. The man who walked in was a middle-aged man of moderate height and slight build, with eyebrows that appeared to be furrowed up most of the time and notably squinted-looking pink eyes. He has short gray hair worn parted to his right with side bangs hanging above his eyes, along with a small mustache and a goatee on his chin, and one of his front teeth seems to be missing, leaving a gap in his grin. He wears a pair of dress and a matching blazer, along with plain black shoes and a shirt which he leaves partially unbuttoned at the top. He has a thick, golden tube-like necklace around his neck that appears to be made up of multiple segments, sometimes along with a fluffy scarf that resembles intestines in shape and color, also sporting a pair of circular glasses on his face. He was smoking a cigarette. 𝘁𝑒, ah, you must be the broker we heard about. Jiren, if I'm not mistaken. Jiren, and you too must be the monster summoning duo I've heard about. However, my real name is Kajiro Okuta. Tamura, and who are they? Tamura referred to two people who stood by the door. So it's you, huh? I saw a picture of you, but you look gross in person. The first person is a reasonably tall, pale young man of slim shape but somewhat muscular build, described as in his early 20s. He has white hair with a few red flecks at its crown that spikes upward around his head, hanging low over his eyes, which are thin, turquoise, and heavily lidded. His hair is black. His most striking features are undoubtedly the patches of gnarled, wrinkled, purple skin that cover much of his lower face and neck, all the way down past his collarbone, below his eyes, around his torso, and on his arms and legs. These appear to be attached to the rest of his skin by multiple crude surgical staples or hoop piercings. He has several silver cartilage piercings in both ears and a triple nostril piercing on the right side of his nose. Upon closer inspection, he also lacks earlobes on both sides of his ears. He wears a dark blue jacket with a high, ripped collar, matching cut off above his ankles, and a pair of dark dress shoes on his feet. He also has a plain pale gray, scoop neck shirt, below which a gray belt with a circular pattern wraps around his waist, a 𝘆ᴂ satchel attached at the back. Wow, the hand guy. You're friends with Mr. Staney, right? Let me join it. The League of Villains. The second person is a fair-skinned girl who is prone to blushing and has a pretty face. She has inward-tilting yellow eyes with thin slit-like irises, somewhat resembling those of a cat, and her wide mouth is also rather feline, as her canines are pointed and longer than the rest of her teeth, giving her a vampiric appearance. Her hair is a pale, ash-blonde color and is styled into two messy buns, with numerous wild strands sticking out a straight fringe, and two chin-length side bangs framing her face. Her usual outfit consists of a plain 𝘆cie with a kansai collar, both the skirt and the shirt dark blue with a double white trim, which is paired with a red scarf that she ties loosely below. Over this, she wears an oversized beige cardigan with a long hem and cuffs, and pockets on either side, the right one shown to hold a number of trinkets on either a keychain or a cell phone strap. She sports knee-length black socks and dark brown outdoor school shoes. 𝘆ᴄ, get rid of these two. I can already tell they're exactly the kind of trash I hate. A brat and a guy with no manners. 𝘆ᴄ, now, 𝘆ᴄ Shigaraki. They came all this way, the least we can do is hear them out. Give them a chance. Besides, this broker is respected in the underworld. They're bound to be valuable assets. 𝘆ᴄ, like M or not, you still owe me a finder's fee. In cash. Izuku, mind well, he does work for payment, there's nothing wrong with that. 𝘆ᴄ, I suppose I could introduce the two of them before I go. Izuku, that would be appreciated. 𝘆ᴄ points to the blonde girl. This one looks like an adorable high school girl, right? She's actually the suspect in a series of deaths where the victims all bled out. So far, her name and face have been kept out of the media. Izuku, mind, I remember those incidents, but it didn't look like they died from a BLD loss. It looked more like they'd been drained of their BLD. She could have a BLD-related quirk. I'd better be careful around her. Toga here. Himiko Toga. Life is too strong. I just want to make it easier to live in this dumb world. I want to be Mr. Staney. I want to 𝘄*L Mr. Staney. Come on, handyman, please let me join your League of Villains. 𝘆ᴄ, you gotta be kidding me. Is she crazy? Izuku, I don't think so. Her quirk must be BLD-based, she's probably suffering from withdrawal symptoms. 𝘆ᴄ, well, she can hold a conversation. For the most part, at least. Come on, she could be useful. Points to the boy covered in scars, and this guy hasn't committed any flashy crimes, but he's taken Stain's ideology to heart. I don't like this. Izuku, mind he almost sounds like Shoto. Are they related perhaps? Now that I look at him, he looks very familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. Is your group really dedicated to the hero killer's mission? I can't imagine you are if you're gonna let this little psycho join you. Himiko, giggles 𝘆ᴄ, grow up. She may be a psycho, but at least she knows how to introduce herself to people. Don't just stare. What's your name? Right now I'm going by Dabi. Izuku, mind, Dabi means cremation, so his quirk must be connected to it. 𝘆ᴄ, no, I want to know your real name. Dabi, I'll tell you when you need to know it. In any case, my new purpose is to carry out the hero killer's will. 𝘆ᴄ, that wasn't what I asked you, Patchwork. Geez. Why is everyone so hung up on Stain? He's all I ever hear about. Monstrox. 𝘆ᴄ, I think you might have to step in at some point. Izuku, I agree. 𝘆ᴄ, no, don't do it. 𝗵𝗏, every DMN day. It's really me off. You two are done. All three charge at each other, 𝗵𝗏 with his bare hand, 𝗿𝗲𝗃 who had sparks coming from his hand, and 𝘆_ɪ with a knife. Before they could land a hit, ⴑ intercepts them by using his warp gate and having their arms portaled away from each other. ⴑ, please calm yourself, 𝗵𝗏 Shigaraki. If your longing is to be realized, then we must increase our numbers. Now that we're in the spotlight, our chance is at hand. I advise you to be more accepting. You must use them and the ideology stain has left behind. Izuku, he's right, our army may be immense, but it's not as powerful as it was decades ago. We need more help. ⴑ pulls his arms out of the warp gate and proceeds to walk out the door. ⴑ, I'm outta here. Jiren, where are you off to? ⴑ, shut up. ⴑ walks out and slams the door. Jiren, I try to make it a point not to complain about a client, but he's too young. And far too immature. Himiko, really thought he was gonna kill us for a sec. Dabi, that guy makes me wanna vomit. Izuku, I'm really sorry about him, things just haven't been going his way in the past few months. Give him some time and he'll warm up to the idea. Dabi, fine, I guess we can wait. Anyway, who are you anyway, kid? He said you're the summoner that made those monsters appear. Izuku, I didn't actually create them, the credit goes to my partner here. Monstrox, nice to meet you, I am Monstrox, though I also go by the Book of Monsters and the Cloud of Monstrox. Himiko, ooh, talking book, that's so cool. Do you bleed? Monstrox, no, I'm a book, I can't bleed. Izuku, he used to be a human until his power was split into 12 books. I'm something of a wizard's apprentice for him. Izuku and Monstrox explain Monstrox's origin and their end goal to change society. Himiko, whoa, that sounds amazing. Dabi, I'll believe it when I see it. Izuku, oh, I never told you my name, sorry. My name is Izuku Midoriya. Himiko, that's a really cute name, can I call you Aizu? Izuku, Aizu, I mean Himiko, please. Izuku, okay. Himiko, yay. ⴑ was silent for a moment, but then he spoke. ⴑ, shall we get back to you about recruitment at a later date? I believe our leader knows what he has to do. That's why he left as he did. He understands his circumstances. All Might, then the hero killer, he's been humbled twice very recently. I'm sure he will bring you an answer. One that will satisfy both of you, as well as his own. A few hours later ⴑ returned, and he seemed happy, almost like he made a revelation. Izuku, so, how was your walk? ⴑ, it was very informative, I ran into that Bakugo kid at the mall, and now I realize something. ⴑ, and what would that be, young Эмистер? ⴑ, I had convictions and ideals from the beginning. I just didn't know. Something has changed. The only real difference is now I know what I'm working toward. To create a world where people won't have to suffer under the thumb of corruption. That's what drives me. From this day forward, I will call it my conviction. Everything is the Hero Commission's fault. In an unknown location. Dr. ⴘ, you seem oddly happy today, Эмистер. Is it because the League of Villains roster continues to grow steadily? ⴃ coughs, that's not why, Doctor. It's because ⴑ Shigaraki has finally found his conviction. The League of Villains needs people who will get behind his principles. Not only that, but Izuku Midoriya's bond with him will help him to achieve not only their own goals but the goals of everyone who wishes to be free from the Hero Commission's oppression. I'll leave all of the decisions to them for now. If ⴑ asks for help, then of course, I'll step in and guide him. That's not a problem as I see it. In fact, I've been waiting for the day when he seeks my aid. I'm preparing for him to become the next me. My successor. Doctor, and what of Monstrox, should we be concerned about him? AFO, no, like how I'm training ⴑ to be my successor, he's training Izuku to be his, and when the time comes, these two will return order to this broken society. Meanwhile back at Uenizu, why did they just give us this book? Aizawa, not sure, the inscription said it was called the Book of Deception. Midnight, well, let's see what it's about. Nizu opens the book. Nizu, fooled you again, suckers. The book dissolves into nothingness. Power loader, It was a decoy, they must have swapped it for the real one. Nizu, which means the villains have only gotten stronger. They also took something else from Dave's office, a snow globe with a black castle in it. Ectoplasm, why would they do that? Back to the bar. Izuku was holding the snow globe that they took from my island. Izuku, to think it was in David Shield's possession, I'm surprised he kept it. Monstrox, to him, it's just a trinket, but we know what is really inside it. Let's not use it yet, let's surprise the rest of the league another time. They smile at their success looking over the black castle in the snow globe. Preparations were being made to attack the training camp. Izuku and Monstrox were heading to Mount Fuji where reports of earthquakes were occurring. They brought a monitor so that the league could see what they were doing and show the new members what they needed to find. Izuku, so hot. How can it be so hot? Mount Fuji hasn't erupted in years, and now suddenly it's about to become active again. Monstrox, sniffing, we're here because I smell an evil book. Izuku, yeah, but still, if this heat gets any worse, not only will I die of heat stroke, but the eruption could destroy the country and kill thousands of lives. Monstrox, yeah, well, no one said that finding them would be easy. Don't worry, once we get the book, things might cool down. Sniffing, 𝘁𝑚obile. The evil mobile and monsters turn right. Monstrox, it was here. Izuku, so this was where your castle used to be. Monstrox, the redoubt of ruination. My great castle. I was one of the greatest, most powerful magic users that ever lived. Izuku, you must miss those days, huh? Monstrox, yeah. But hey, once I get a body back, I'll be able to enjoy everything I missed out on if I still had a body. Sniffs, yes. It's here. The Book of Destruction. Izuku, excellent. With its power, we'll be one step closer to our goal. Monstrox, and it'll make monsters that are incredibly destructive. We can use it to attack the training camp. They climbed off the evil mobile and proceeded to walk forward until they found the crater opened and lava was now visible. They continued to walk until they found a part of the volcano's magma had created a bridge, and on the other side was a book. Monstrox, there it is, the Book of Destruction. The Book of Destruction was orange with yellow markings, along with the equally short arrows giving off the appearance of a sun. The symbol inside was 3 triangles which took the appearance of a hexagon which symbolized destruction. Izuku quickly goes across to the book. Izuku, it's destroying everything around it. It looks dangerous. Monstrox, no, it looks delicious. Go get it. Izuku picked up the book, which was surprisingly heavier than it looked, and read through it, taking notes with his notebook. He then chucks the book over to Monstrox, who proceeds to eat it. Monstrox, scrumptious, complex, full-bodied, fruity, but with a hint of sulfur. Burping and coughing, whoa. As he coughs and burps, he accidentally slams against the bookkeeper and knocks him unconscious and landing face first to the ground. Izuku got back to Monstrox and turned him over only to recoil from surprise. Monstrox, destroy, heavy breathing, destroy. Echoes. Monstrox's eyes turned red with all that destructive power coursing through him. Izuku then regains his composure. Izuku, you got it. Izuku opens Monstrox on the destruction section and proceeds with the summoning. Izuku, monsters, here's the new ploy, come out of that book and let's destroy. 3 new monsters emerged from the book. They were around the same size as 𝘆40 and Sparks, with their heads looking like skulls. They had red crystal-like spikes all over their body, with the larger ones being on their backs. In place of hands, they had boulder-like fists which caused the ground to crack as one slammed it against the ground. They were called 𝘆𝑚. Izuku, oh, this is gonna be so much fun. They return to the base and see that there are some new faces in the group, with Himiko and Dabi wearing new clothes. Himiko wears the same outfit but with a few additional gadgets: her piped black mask, the green boxes of knives strapped around her thighs, a blue utility belt around her waist with more boxes attached to it on either side. The most distinguishing feature is the loose black mask she wears around her neck, which is decorated with pieces of pale gray metal in the shape of a carnivorous grin. 3 large silver canisters are attached to the sides of her mask. The needles poking out connect to the 2 larger cylinders strapped to the back of her belt. This is the mechanism by which Himiko uses to 𝘆શકે people's BLD for her quirk. 𝘆_ši𝑂'𝗹𝗹, well Izu, what do you think? Izuku, it's very creative and a good use for your quirk. 𝘆_ši𝑂', yeah, but this is not what I had in mind. They changed the design, but if it makes you happy, then I'm happy too. Dabi's apparel is updated, now consisting of a large dark blue knee-length overcoat with 2 large metal cuffs at the end of each elbow-length sleeve and a white stitch design on each of his shoulders. The coat has 3 ripped hems, granting the appearance of 4 coattails. His shirt and belt stay the same, but he replaces his with a larger pair of a darker color, and his shoes with black boots. Dabi, glad you're back, kid. We saw what you did. Izuku, thanks Dabi, that's just one step closer to freeing this country from corruption. So can you guys introduce me to the team? Dabi, sure, this is Jin Babigawara, his alias is Twice. His quirk is called Double, which allows him to create clones of anyone he wants, with the only drawbacks being that he needs exact measurements of the subject and that the clones aren't as durable as the original. He suffered from a past trauma that caused him to develop multiple personality disorder, making him conflicted with himself. He is a rather well-built man with blonde hair and gray-blue eyes. He has a large scar splitting his forehead from a past incident. He has visible traces of facial hair over his mouth and at the bottom of his chin. His villain costume was a black and gray bodysuit that covered his body completely, along with gray boots. The upper half of his signature mask is gray with white eye sockets, while the lower half covering his mouth is black. He also sports red and green wristbands in which he stores his measuring tapes. Most of his suit is black except for the section over his lower legs and the gray designs that appear to form a T and W over his T. The T is formed by a horizontal line crossing his upper torso and a vertical line ascending from the abdomen. Another line snakes down to his lower torso and splits down to his thighs, then climbs to his hips, forming a W. Twice, hey there, it's nice to meet you / no it isn't. Monstrox, I see what you mean, but he can be useful to us. Izuku, well, it's nice to meet you Jin. Dabi, next we have Shuichi Iguchi, alias Spinner. His quirk is called Gecko, and as the name implies it gives him the appearance and powers of a gecko. He's very supportive of Stain's ideals. He is a young man with a reptile-like appearance, with bright green scales for skin and a face shaped like that of a lizard. His hair is relatively long and swept backward and is a desaturated pinkish-purple in color, standing out from the rest of his colors. In reflection of his great admiration towards Stain, he wears clothes similar to his. A sleeveless shirt and dark, baggy with brown holsters around his thighs, black boots and pale, metallic knee guards. He wears a mask made of a long, white tattered strip of cloth, similar to Stain, with goggles on his forehead, a red scarf and bandages wrapped around both his arms, partially covered by black wristbands. He also wears 2 belts, with one that carry a second blade, a blue and white 𝘆_ši𝑂'𝗹𝗹 armor, and also carried an enormous sword on his back that was made out of many smaller blades bound together, until it was destroyed, in which later he carries a large, yet reasonably sized sword instead. Spinner, I take it you're this monster summoner duo we've heard so much about. Izuku, you'd be correct, in any case, it's still nice to meet you. Dabi, alright, up next is Atsuhiro Seiko, also known as Mr. Compress, or just Compress. His quirk is called Compress, and it allows him to compress anything he touches into a marble. He used to be a stage magician, so he's good at using misdirection. He's a tall, slim man with pale skin and brown eyes that are semicircular and slightly slanted inwards, and he has a notably pointed nose. He wears a combination of a mask, balaclava, and a hat. Underneath his mask reveals that he has short black eyebrows and a head of curly brown hair, similar in shade to his eyes. In his villain attire, he wears a dark orange shirt with the collar left upturned, a green striped bolo necktie with an oval-shaped azure brooch hanging around his neck, a black waistcoat, and black dress. He wears knee-high white boots with wedged heels and black toe caps, plain dark red gloves, a tall brown top hat, a red ribbon tied around it, and a pale feather sticking out on the left. Over his head, he wears a black balaclava with a hole for his mouth as well as his eyes, over which he wears one of the multiple white masks he owns, each with a different black geometric design. In his first appearance, he also wears a dark yellow, double-breasted overcoat with buttoned shoulder tabs and a high collar, which reaches below his knees, and he additionally carries a silver walking stick with a gold handle. Mr. Compress, it is quite an honor to meet both of you. I hope we can get along. Izuku, I hope so too. You'd be surprised at what we can do. Dabi, our next member is calling himself Mustard. We don't really know his real name. All we know is that his quirk is called Gas, which releases a very strong knockout gas, and he holds some sort of grudge, and he hates the students from UH school for their simplistic way of fighting, rushing without strategy, and yet having the best of reputation among the world. He is a skinny, young man with short, wavy, light brown hair, tan skin, and brown eyes. He wears a black Gakuren school uniform along with teal gloves and white shoes. Mustard sports a green gas mask that completely covers his face, attached to 2 oxygen tanks that he carries on his back. Izuku, someone who prefers strategy over just attacking without any knowledge of your opponent. I can respect that. Monstrox, yeah, a fight may take longer if you use strategy, but at least it won't put you at risk. Mustard, as someone who prefers to learn about their enemies before attacking, I hold you in high regard. Dabi, up next we have Kenji Hikishi. Her alias is Magna, and her quirk is called Magnetism. It allows her to apply strong magnetic polarity to people around her within a 4-5 meter radius. She could magnetize a person's entire body or specific portions. Men are polarized south, and women are polarized north. The drawback is that she can't use it to magnetize herself. Also, don't let her appearance fool you. She's actually a transgender. She is a woman with quite a wide, muscular build. Her shoulder-length hair is smooth and a reddish magenta color. Her rather square jaw is also thinly covered in facial hair. Her lips are notably big, appearing to be similar to the boy from Class 1A, Rikido Sato's, just slightly more pink-tinted in color. She wears triangular, white-framed sunglasses, obscuring her eyes. Along with these, she also wears a dark orange shirt, which is unbuttoned, revealing the white V-neck she has on underneath, blue jeans with a belt, and plain dark brown espadrilles on her feet. Izuku, well, it's nice to meet you, Magna. Magna, you as well, though in all honesty, I never expected your partner to be a book. Monstrox, I'm not really mad about that. Dabi, anyways, there's no need to introduce the other 2 since they are well-known criminals, so you should have some knowledge of them. The other 2 are villains that are well-known on the news, and they both make Izuku feel uncomfortable. The first was 𝘰𝘋, or the well-known serial killer, muscular, whose quirk allowed him to augment his strength with muscle fibers. The other was Moonfish, a death row inmate with cannibalistic urges and a quirk that allows him to elongate his teeth. Muscular is a large, bulky, and highly muscular man set wide with short, spiky, sandy blonde hair and tiny black eyes. He has a large scar across the left side of his face, his left eye replaced with a prosthetic one, and another, smaller scar on the right side of his forehead. His outfit comprises a black hooded cloak and a white hockey mask with multiple holes. Underneath this, he wears a red tank top, a dark jacket that hangs around his waist, dark green and black knee-high boots. Muscular, so you 2 are the ones that everyone's been talking about. Not much to look at. Monstrox, I would say something bad about you, but I'm too terrified to say anything. Izuku stayed silent, but they could see him quivering in fear. Moonfish is a reasonably tall man who stands over most of his allies in terms of height. He has fair skin and black eyes. He is later shown to have a large cut on his left ear and a shaven head. Most of his physical body cannot be seen because his suit encompasses his entire body. Moonfish wears a black straitjacket that only leaves his mouth exposed. The suit is held together by black restraints decorated with red spikes. These same restraints connect to metal clamps that cover Moonfish's head and keep his lips open, often causing him to drool. Other straps cross Moonfish's torso, waist, and the top of his boots. Moonfish, do the job, do the job. Izuku, he may be a B-rank villain, but he's also a dangerous death row inmate. There are a lot of risks involved if he is here. Tamura, don't worry, 𝘰𝘋 has him under control. Now then, let's discuss our mission. They discuss the plan to attack a training camp owned by the wild PP cats and kidnap Katsuki Bakugo. In this, they aren't going to go after Ragdoll, since the 𝗹𝗏PC are real heroes that aren't associated with the Hero Commission. The meeting ends and Izuku goes over to Tamura, Kurogiri, and AFO to share his opinion. Izuku, Kaken won't join us. Tamura, what makes you so certain of that? Izuku, I've known him since childhood, he only cares about being number one, and he's too arrogant to want to join the league. Kurogiri, even so, our mission is to capture him. AFO, and it's your knowledge of the boy that will serve us the most in this endeavor. Izuku, yes sir, I understand. But I would also like to say I don't trust Muscular to go along with the plan. After all, the son of the water hose duo happens to be the nephew of Mandalay and is living with the 𝗹𝗏PC. AFO, and even if that happens, I'm sure All Might's successor will take care of him. Izuku, yes sir, I understand. Kurogiri opens a portal and they end up at their location. The forest where classes 1A and 1B will be doing their training. The Vanguard Action Squad set up camp while they waited for the students to arrive. They were all enjoying each other's company, especially Izuku who got along with everyone, except Muscular and Moonfish. It was now nighttime and they were all sitting by the fire, which was well hidden from view. They were all relaxing until Himiko noticed Izuku looked upset, while harmonica music played. Himiko, hey Izu, what's wrong? Izuku, I'm not sure about this whole evil thing. Can we stop it with the harmonica? I'm having a moment of doubt here. Izuku was yelling at Monstrox who was the one playing the harmonica. Monstrox, spits the harmonica out, you don't like that I'm playing some sad music for you. You poor little baby. Izuku, sorry, it's just a little annoying, especially since you're playing it right next to me. Oh, the fire's dying. Brighten it up while I think back on my life. Monstrox, sure. Asterisk spits a fireball onto the firewood. Relighting the fire asterisk Izuku. I lived with my mother in Mizudafu, and I always had a lot of admiration for heroes, but my favorite was All Might. I had a very happy life, but that all changed after we went to the quirk doctor. Izuku, the day I came back to school the truth about my quirklessness spread like wildfire. Kaken started calling me Deku, which meant useless. He started bullying and picking on me, and I couldn't even defend myself when it happened. He even encouraged my other classmates to do the same. They laughed and mocked me at every turn for the past 11 years. But the final straw happened when we were in middle school, on the day we were deciding our future careers when we finally graduated. What Izuku told them made the group feel bad for him, apart from Moonfish, who was fixated on doing his job and eating flesh due to his cannibalistic urges, and Muscular who just didn't care. Izuku, I always wanted to lash out and attack Kaken in my anger, but I didn't have the backbone to even do it. I still don't feel bad all the time. Monstrox, well you should, you're a good kid but you let those kids walk all over you, which is awful. And I know bad. You know what you need. Izuku, career counseling. Monstrox, no kid, you need more training. Come on, stop feeling sorry for yourself and be monstrous. I wrote a book on it, right? Kurogiri, well, it will still be some time before they arrive, so a little training wouldn't hurt. They head into the forest where Monstrox is talking to Izuku. Monstrox, that's it, I'm the Book of Monsters, so let's make some badness. The bookkeeper opens Monstrox up and Izuku seems a little more at ease. Izuku then waves the staff over the pages and summons some monsters, including Burnsy and Sparks. Izuku, hee. I do like making monsters, little ones, big ones, and all the nasty ones in between. Laughs. The squad watched in awe as the lava monsters emerged from Monstrox and manifested in front of them. The bookkeeper closes Monstrox and then faces Izuku. Izuku, okay now what? Monstrox, you become badder and badder. You just need some practice, that's all. Singing, learn to be evil. Musical notes, you gotta learn to be evil, don't be a schlemazel. Learn to be nasty, get awful real fasty. 'Cause being bad is so neat. Yes, being bad is real mean. Musical notes. As he sings, Izuku orders the monsters to cause some minor disturbances in the forest that was barely noticeable to anyone. End of song. Izuku, you know what I've learned. Monstrox, that being bad is fun. Izuku, no, that you're a terrible singer. Monstrox, stop fooling around. You can't stop at just being bad, you always gotta set your sights higher. There's lots of people that treated you like their punching bag, and that Bakugo kid, Oh, he was the worst one of them all. 𝘂𝘁, yeah, it makes me feel 𴘆𴚅, sad. More harmonica. Maybe another song. I'm on it. Just as he was about to start playing the harmonica, 𝘂𝘁 stopped him. 𝘂𝘁, no. It makes me angry. I want revenge. 𝘂𝘁's eyes glowed with his fury, and 𴘆𴚅 couldn't be happier. 𴘆𴚅 spits out the harmonica. Now that's what I'm talking about. 𝘂𝘁, and not just on anyone. I want revenge on the very person that was the cause of all my suffering. What? Katsuki Bakugo. A monitor comes on and Tamura's voice comes from it. Tamura, well, you'll get your chance if this mission goes according to plan. And Sensei heard everything. He no longer wants us to recruit him. He wants you to do what as you please to him. 𝘂𝘁 smiled with glee. After so long, he'll finally get his revenge on his tormentor. Time passed and Class 1A arrived as expected. They watched the teenagers race towards the main building. 𝘂𝘁 watched each of the students use their quirk's wheel, but he fumed at the sight of Bakugo. It was now nighttime, and the squad planned to strike the following night, during the test of courage, since they would already have been exhausted from their training. 𝘂𝘁, this plan cannot fail, but how are we going to prepare for the quirks we didn't see during the sports festival? 𝘆𴚅, and no problem. Summon 𝘆𝘆, super spy. Sneaky as all get out. The monster was a woman with a toned muscular build wearing CGST armor and waist armor. She also wore a black hooded cloak that reached just halfway above her ankles, along with ankle guards. 𝘂𝘁, what the heck? Red Rover, send 𝘆𝘆 over. 𝘂𝘁 waves the staff over 𝘆𝘅 and 𝘆𝘆 emerges. 𝘆𝘆, nice to get out. Some of the boys started blushing at how attractive she looked, apart from 𝘂𝘁, who was just overstimulated since he'd never been around a woman like her before. 𝘆𝘆, so you're 𝘂𝘁. The other monsters talk about you all the time. They say you're the most powerful, evil, and villainous kid ever. 𝘂𝘁, it's nice to meet you, Miss 𝘆𝘆. Sorry, but I'm not ready for any relationships just yet. 𝘆𝘆, that's okay. Besides, you're too young for me anyway. Anyway, what's my mission? 𝘂𝘁, alright, we need you to spy on the students and gather information about what their quirks can do since we didn't see all of them use their quirks during the sports festival. 𝘆𝘆, no problem, see you all later. 𝘆𝘆 then leaves the team and 𝘂𝘁 finally calms down. Twice, she's one hot monster. Everyone turned to Twice in surprise. Twice, what? During that time, 𝘂𝘁 and 𝘆𴚅 explored the rest of the forest until they found another Rogol. 𝘂𝘁, another Rogol, perfect. 𝘆𴚅, yes, it's the forbidden power, shocking scare. It can turn even the bravest warrior into a whimpering coward. The symbol of the forbidden power was a blue skull with its lower jaw at the bottom and electricity sparks in its mouth. 𝘆𴚅 takes on his cloud form and zaps the Rogol to life, who then gives the forbidden power to 𝘂𝘁. 𝘂𝘁, alright, let's test it out. 𝘂𝘁 points it at one of the Rogols and uses shocking scare. The Rogol suddenly looked very afraid and then ran away. 𝘆𴚅, scaring a Rogol is no easy feat. This power is frightfully good. 𝘂𝘁, yes, but I also noticed that it wears off quicker than the other forbidden powers. But it still works. 𝘆𴚅, now, let's head back to the others. They do so, and when they arrive, 𝘆𝘆 returns with the information she's gathered. It was nighttime and Class 1A was doing the test of courage. They all headed out to do their assignments. 𝘂𝘁 and 𝘆𴚅 summoned some destruction monsters and a few 𝘆𝑖𝑟ᴏ to help deal with them. They then noticed Muscular was heading for a mountain. They follow behind, making sure to stay out of sight. As they followed behind, Muscular 𝘆𝘅 picked up the scent of another book. 𝘆𝘅, hold on kid, I smell another book, over there. 𝘂𝘁 looks in the indicated direction and sees the book. The book was green with 2 long arrows pointing diagonally up left and bottom right, and 2 short arrows that pointed diagonally up right and bottom left. The symbol in the center was 4 claws and claw marks moving to the bottom right, which symbolized vengeance. 𝘆𝘅, yes, the Book of Vengeance. 𝘂𝘁 reads through it and takes notes with his notebook, and was about to feed it to 𝘆𝘅 until he stopped him. 𝘆𝘅, hold on, 𝘂𝘁, the power of destruction is already overwhelming these heroes, Save it for later. Izuku, got it. Izuku then puts the Book of Vengeance away and continues to summon more monsters when needed. They then continue to follow behind Muscular all the way to the top of the mountain. They see Muscular is about to attack a kid when suddenly Melissa's shield comes in and protects him. The fight goes the same as canon, only with Melissa taking Izuku's place. Once the fight was over, Izuku and Monstrox stepped out. Monstrox, I must admit, that was impressive. Melissa, Izuku, you were able to defeat Muscular. Despite your injuries, you still managed to survive. Koda, stay away from her. Izuku just walks past the boy and kneels down to Melissa using a healing spell he recently learned. Izuku, there, you should be all better now. Melissa, why are you helping me? Izuku, I have my reasons. All you need to know is, I don't intend to be your enemy. But I'm afraid we'll have to take our leave. A portal opens behind Izuku and Monstrox. Izuku, I'd suggest you go save your bird-headed and six-armed classmates before they end up as a villain's meal. They walk through the portal and it closes just as Melissa got back to her feet. With Izuku. Tomura, so, how did it go? Izuku, just as I thought, Muscular went off on his own and nearly killed someone. Tomura, oh well, he was too dangerous to keep around anyway. In any case, we'll get Bakugo for you sooner than later. Izuku, good, I also got the location of Mustard if you want to pull him out. Tomura, his quirk is definitely useful, and the tech you recommended for him might give us an upper hand, so I'll have Kurogiri retrieve him. The attack went the same as canon, only with the lava monsters present and Melissa taking Izuku's place. The team returns to the base with an unconscious Bakugo. Tomura, mission accomplished. So Izuku, do you want to make him suffer now? Izuku, no, it wouldn't be as satisfying. I want him to know what's going on. For now, we'll wait for him to wake up. In the meantime, I should have shocking scare transferred by now. Kurogiri, by the way Izuku, why didn't you send any stone monsters to assist them? Monstrox, we had them working on another project, which will hopefully bear fruits. Just as he said that General Garg comes in. General Garg, Lord Izuku, Lord Monstrox, we found them. They looked at each other and smiled. They head off to a mine at the base of a mountain. Izuku goes over to where they were mining and removes some rocks. Monstrox, what is it? What is it? Izuku, it's a mouth. More rocks break off an ear. Suddenly the wall falls apart revealing 3 stone statues, one of which was much bigger. Izuku, the legend is true. They are here. Monstrox, I knew it, we found the 3 brothers. Izuku, General Garg, have the stone monsters dig them out. Garg, yes sir. Twice. You know, I'm a pretty good sculptor, I could make you better statues than these. No I can't. Izuku, these aren't statues. The 3 brothers are terrible granite golems, who nearly defeated Malik the Malign. Monstrox, rogue, quick-tempered, and quick on his feet. So fast they said he could actually dodge a magic spell. 𝘁𝘂 our strategist, and the most strong-hitting hammer swinger the world has ever seen. Rumble, the strength of 20 men, totally immune to pain. The greatest warriors in history. Spinner, and yet here they are. Monstrox, even Malik couldn't defeat M. So he buried them under this mountain. Izuku, we're gonna dig them out. Carefully, exactly as they used to be. Monstrox, now get to work, unless any of you want to take their place under the mountain. The stone monsters worked and continued to carefully dig out the brothers. Izuku, once they carve them out and you reanimate them with your lightning Monstrox, they'll make things very rocky for the heroes. They both laughed a little until Izuku realized that the pun wasn't so good. Izuku, make things very rocky. Really? Monstrox, oh, don't be so stone-faced. They both laughed again. This time they were enjoying it, and they were joined by the rest of the league. They were able to free Rug and 𝘂𝑥, as well as the upper part of Rumble's head. Monstrox then takes on his cloud form and reanimates them. Rug, bury us under a mountain. Like that would ever will work. 𝘂𝑥, what is going on here? Rumble, * can't talk but tries to break free from the wall as the monsters work on freeing him. Monstrox, short version, I am Monstrox and this is my cohort, Izuku, and these are our allies, the League of Villains. We dug you up and brought you back to life, to serve us. Rug, sorry, we're not the following type, so Tomura, oh, got an independent streak do you? Well fine, how about we just rebury you? Rex, now, hey, we're willing to learn. Monstrox, 𝘂𝘁, would you mind informing AFO about our progress while the others work on freeing their big brother? 𝘂𝘁, very well, I shall return momentarily. 𝘂𝘁 leaves as the stone monsters continue to dig Rumble out. Moments later he returns to see the head is almost free, but just as things are looking up, the rest of the wall crumbles, and Rumble's head falls out, without his body. Rex, hey Rumble, you lose some weight. Laughs Rumble, I, keep joking little man. I can still bite off your feet. Monstrox, gore, somebody better fix this or everyone responsible for this is gonna be the next group of people buried under a mountain. Now we gotta get rolling and fast. Twice, rolling. I have an idea / no I don't. Twice creates some clones and then starts working on Rumble. They are all confused until they see what he did. He gave Rumble wheels. Izuku, Jean, you are brilliant. Rumble's powerful strength, combined with the momentum of a vehicle. Now that's what I'm talking about. Monstrox, well, let's head back to base and we still have to transfer Shocking Scare. Izuku, right. They all return to base and once they rested up, they head back to Mount Thunderstrox. Monstrox, transfer Forbidden Power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the 5th stone pillar. Izuku, all my enemies will not bear the frightening power of Shocking Scare. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the 5th standing stone. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. Monstrox absorbs the power from the stone pillars, then flies down to the base of the mountain and strikes it with his lightning, causing it to crumble. Once it finished, what they saw was beyond amazing. Inside the mountain was a large stone head, and the stone circle stood on top of the head, like a crown of sorts. This is what the forbidden powers are being used for. Tomura, whoa, that is one big monster. Monstrox, exactly, this is our ultimate goal. The Colossus of ultimate destruction. We gotta get enough forbidden powers to fill in the standing stones and complete him. Therefore, then what? Monstrox, then, the stone Colossus will come to life, and we will use it to attack the Hero Commission, making them plead for mercy, or they will be destroyed. Izuku, so long as we free the country from the Commission's corruption, I'm willing to do so. Now, let's head back to base, it's payback time. Laughs maniacally, and that's all for now. Before I end this, let me say that I did have an idea for a bonus scene in this chapter where 𝘂𝘚 used her on Bakugo while he was doing the test of courage, and an illusion of Izuku appears and confronts Bakugo about everything he's done so far, with 𝘂𝘚 and 𝗹𝗲 aiding him, but I decided not to do that, so here's the song the trio would have sung. Also, the following song belongs to 𝘁𝘁cake Productions /𝘁𝘁cake, topic on YouTube, all rights reserved.